Yo, 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 what's good, gamers? It is your boy, GQAzndood, headmaster of the GQAzndood Gaming Academy. What is up? It is Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. Once again, we're here with another show packed filled with greatness. We have extra faculty member tonight. But what's good? How's your week been? Hopefully, things have been going pretty well in the gaming world, also in your own personal worlds as well. But anyway, welcome to class session 27 of the Gaming Academy, the only school where attendance isn't mandatory, but rolling for initiative is. Tonight, we're diving headfirst with some crazy collector's editions, from the battle-worn Doomslayer helmet to the light-up Titanfall statue to the actual voice-modulated Fallout power armor. Yes, folks, if your head isn't already in a helmet, what are you even doing? We also have some guest props for tonight, too. Just keep an eye out on the background there. Also, we're warping through this week in gaming history, reliving legends like Super Metroid, Psychonauts, and A Link to the Past, and more, just like the song that you heard. It's a nostalgia speed run, and you're all coming with us. Then it's time to sharpen your skills for the tech, taught by none other than BlazingAceNelson himself, our resident professor of pixelated punishment. He's charging up his lesson plan to show you how to master the charge blade in Monster Hunter Wilds. So bring a pen and a whetstone. Also, Nick, our tragically elite, has got a backpack full of gaming news, including updates on Hades 2, the Minecraft movie, smashing box office records, and Silksong finally confirming that it's not a dream. And in Now Playing, we got everything from Zelda Echoes of Wisdom to 2 Point Museum and even Digimon Cyber Sleuth. It's an eclectic buffet of digital goodness. And also, did I mention we have a special guest tonight? NoShoes from the NoShoes podcast, tagging in tonight for our guest host. And so get comfy, boot up your favorite grindy game. Let's max out that INT stat and let's go get it. So let me go ahead and introduce our staff here, of course. Let me go by order. You know him as instructor Undetect, the Blazing, the Ace, and the Nelson. What up, what up?
What's good, everybody? Welcome back. It's wow, you said number 27?
Yeah.
Man,
we've been doing this for a hot minute.
We are getting up there. But hey, it's good to see everybody. I hope you all had yourselves a great weekend. I hope the week has been treating you well so far. We got plenty of action coming your way. Again, we're definitely going to be, speed running some nostalgia. And between here and next week, yeah, definitely looking forward to showing y'all some pretty damn cool stuff. So keep it locked right here. Classes in session.
Always a fun time at the Academy, that's for sure. It's nostalgia like 101, it's always on. That class is always open. So, but yeah, let's jump in here, because I know we got a jam-packed syllabus as always. If I could share the syllabus with the students, they would be like, wow, they got a lot to talk about. They don't cover. So, the guy that we get the news from. I saw his Discord profile that changed to Night City, so it makes me happy, because we're making it a thing. The tragically delete, the Mr. Nick. What up?
Hey everyone, it's been Night City for a while. I just added a new avatar, so you had to click. A little bit different. Also, quick note, I think those were the news notes for last week. So super surprised tonight for more stuff. We did talk about Hades already, so that's great. Let's see what else we got. What else we got in store? Thank you so much for having me back.
Always. Oh, it'd be weird if you didn't come back. You're kind of part of the staff, so you gotta tell me if you're gonna put in your 2 weeks, brother.
Not yet, anyway. I don't know. So far, the compensation's a-okay, my friends. All
right. Oh yeah, for sure. Always good to have you here, man. Always good to have the details and the inside scoop in the industry, of course, because that's what I thrive for. We avoid the drama and go straight for the juice and the meats. So
hey, it's always fun to kind of look back at the last week, especially when I take a week off from the gaming news and I get to go back and rehash stuff I missed, kind of dive a little bit deeper, which honestly I really prefer to do after a couple weeks of rumor mill stuff, just on the wake of April 1st, Fool's Day. It's hard to parse out what's good and what's not, right?
That must have been stressful for you. That day must have been just oh, what is this
day?
Yeah,
I think I messaged you halfway through doing the syllabus. I'm like, man, this day sucks.
Yeah, it's fake news day, so it's hard to be authentic. So all right, welcome to everybody in the chat. They're Smoking and Red Right Bot. Hello, hello, hello. Also, guys, can we just not forget who else is here today? a little pun for all those people that have hardwood floors at home. NoShoes is in the house, just like mine. We got ourselves here, my man, my boy, NoShoes. What up?
Hello, everybody. Good to see you.
We're good to have you here, man.
I still didn't get the NoShoes pun. I was like, what does that even mean? But now it all makes sense.
Don't just let it happen. He does that from time to time.
Yeah,
We're just
well,
like,
I mean,
sure, man, great.
Super
My
funny.
votes are so inside. You need to pass for it. That's for sure.
A hall pass.
Hey, it's good to have you, man. I know, like you and I chat here and there, have stream. So please, like, tell everybody how I know you and what you do, and just feel free to plug.
Well, although technically James and I went to the same school forever, we didn't really hang out back then. But I know James from just being around. We were in a couple movies together as well.
Ew.
And I got ew. And I I have a somewhat tiny, successful nerdcore hip hop career that has been blooming and developing in the last year, which is wild because the album came out in 2019. NoShoes and Jim Squints. We got an album called Castaway Collaborative. We made a bunch of nerdcore hip hop beats and such, and then did some rhymes over that, and that was really cool. And then on the other side, I do streams and a let's play on my YouTube channel, NoShoes Plays. So
Yeah.
other than that, 9 to 5, busting my ass and.
Yeah, that's everybody here, man. This is their side passion. I think when I first started the show, I said, I wanted to do this because I want to remember that, our life isn't just 9 to 5, that we want to retain what makes us happy and talk about the things that make us happy with our friends.
Absolutely.
Right. So internet chat, you are our friends, and we love seeing you here and chatting about the stuff we love together. So, all right.
Great.
Awesome. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and kick this baby for the. I love kicking babies for our next segment.
Yo, check this out.
Yeah, that's the one. All right. So, guys, if it's your first time here on the channel, check this out. Is about where we check things out on the funny, crazy parts of video games all across the multiverse here in the gaming world. So last week we did video game helmets, but yet there's more. There wasn't just enough for one episode of check this out for gaming helmets. And I have more here. I actually have like about 4. So we'll get right into it. All right. So real quick, I know if you guys peek on NoShoes screen there is a little helmet back there. I don't know if you guys noticed that. So that's pretty cool.
I'd put it on, but I wouldn't be able to hear what you guys are saying. It's right there.
But you look cool.
They look cool, and that's what's important. And last week, Nick showed us his Mass Effect helmet, so that was pretty awesome. I don't have one.
I think it's the second time I've had it on this show, and I'm always happy to pull that back out.
Yeah, it's great.
I have to move a bunch of collectibles to get to it.
It's great. Yeah, we just had a bunch of had a little guessing game of how much the MSRP was versus like how much people were actually buying the helmets. So let's bring up our first contestant. All right, so the first one here is gonna be. Let me see if you guys see that. The Titanfall 2 Series 2 Collector's Edition. So
fucking fire.
The first one was, I think the first collector's edition was the statue, right? The big statue. I think I saw it at the store and I was like, this is gigantic. But they eventually released like another version, the more expensive version of the collector's edition. And this was called the SRS, like the SRS helmet replica. And it was MSRP for around $249. That's crazy. Would you guys, would you guys pick this up? Like, do you remember seeing this in the store?
I remember seeing it. I'm not that hardcore of a Titanfall fan to want to buy that. Like some of these helmets, like the premium helmet stuff, man, if it's a series I love and it like actually has light up and you can wear it, I'm willing to pay a premium for that kind of thing. Like I'll step out of it with it. I liked Titanfall. I just didn't love it. Like, $250 love it. So it's tough for me to say. And yeah, the first one had that like 18-inch, one of the Titans.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I remember that because I did see that in the store, and I was like, "This is super cool." It was going for around $200 at the time, I think, for used. So it was just like so bulky. I remember that. How about you guys? Anybody else have experience with Titanfall 2? At least this version of the collector's edition.
No, not with that collector's edition. And I got into, I actually got into just playing. I got into playing Titanfall 2 late.
Yeah.
But
Same.
man, when I did actually sit down and play it though,
It's a good time, right?
I was kicking myself that I didn't get into it sooner.
It was a good time. Like, even like single player, it was a good time. Like I love the fact that my mech was like my buddy. Like if it was a feel good. It was a feel good game. You know, I don't know about you if you guys played it, but spoilers. But that scene where like you're sliding off after planting the bomb on something, and like you're falling, and your mech buddy like grabs your leg and he pulls you up, and he gives you like the thumbs up. I was like, oh, this is so sick. And I don't know why, because I was thinking Terminator 2, like
yeah, they knew what they were doing with that.
and I was like,
it was like Iron Giant meets Armored Core.
yeah, exactly, dude. I was just like,
precisely.
loving it. I was a kid again. It was great.
Well,
All right,
Jimmy's played Titanfall 2 recently on our Best Losers Let's Play, and it was fantastic. I absolutely love the game. My question is does it blink the hidden message on the helmet? Is there a button to like do that, or?
I think it just lights up so you can blink it yourself.
Okay, there you go. Only I knew Morse code.
Some assembly required.
Yeah,
There you go.
Some creativity required.
Well, we have to use our imaginations again. What year is it?
Son of a
Yeah, this is not a video. All right, so I actually looked up on eBay some of the listings for this thing. There's not a lot, right? And there's a lot of replicas. Like people have been 3D printing Titanfall helmets, which is super cool, by the way. I think that's awesome. Like more for the fans. But what is your take on not new, but like opened complete version of this collector's edition? How much do you think it is being listed for?
I don't know. I'd probably say 150, maybe 200 still.
So it MSRP'd for 250, and you're saying opened loose, so helmet plus some of the extras.
Yeah, let's just say like they opened it up. The guy wore it once. He played the game, opened it, but everything's in the box still.
I could see people trying to sell for like 3. I wouldn't say it's too much. I don't think this has as big of a following as some of the other helmets we looked at.
Okay.
When did this collector's edition come out?
Let's take a peek here. Do I have the date on this? I could probably look it up. I hear some typing.
The release date was, at least for the Titanfall 2 games, this had to be about the same time, October 28th, 2016.
2016. 9-year-old game.
$450. Is this Price is Right rules?
No, we're just trying to
get a high five at least.
$5,
right.
Bob.
So we got 450, 300, and 150, right? Is that what I heard?
Mm-hmm.
Scorpio says 120. Okay. All right. So I only really found 2 listings that are complete, because otherwise it's just a helmet, it's just a game, right? And also I was trying to find as close as possible to the United States. I found one in New York for Titanfall 2 Vanguard SRS Collector's Edition helmet with game for $1,800.
No.
I'm sorry. What?
$1,800. Yes, sir. Wow. $1,800. And by the way, there's a best offer, so you don't have to pay that much, just in case you want to lowball a little bit. So, yeah, this from Thiels, New York. Otherwise, the other 2 listings are in China. So that's kind of crazy.
1,800.
1,800, yeah. $1,899.99.
No, not worth it.
Sorry.
All right, tell them how you really feel.
3D printed ones though.
No, it's super cool. There's a bunch of cool like stuff that I'm seeing like cosplay wise on here as well. Like for example, this one. This one is just a future helmet from from the game. Okay. And this guy printed this for like $600. Super cool. And you can wear it. Kind of cool
pattern in the visor, that tight.
We need to bring back like Titanfall cosplay, because that looks so sick.
And it looks not far from what you see from a lot of like the Halo cosplay community too.
Yeah, that's super cool. Look at that.
It looks like it looks like he's got some like headphones built into it, so it may actually be like an actual usable headset in there too.
Also, you can change the lighting on the.
Oh yeah. That's not
that's
super crazy
dope.
nowadays, but that
Yeah.
is cool.
That is cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's fun stuff.
Hope he has a fan in there too.
Yeah, there's some. Hopefully, there's some vent. All right, so the next one is going to be our Fallout 76 Power Armor Edition. And I did not, I think I remember seeing this on Best Buy. And the reason why this got completely overshadowed in my
I've
brain
seen this one.
was because they talked about how bad the bag was. And I was like,
Yeah.
I got everything else.
Yeah, I remember that very specifically. That duffel bag being a
Same.
huge issue.
Yeah. Well, it looked like a canvas bag in the original shots of the collector's edition, and then people would get and be like, "This is like nylon."
Yeah,
Bro,
it's like the free bags that we actually got at PAX, which was like the only free
Yeah.
stuff we get anymore. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
those free bags.
Yeah. And it's, I feel like if they just had that bag appropriately, like canvas bag, it would have been like a bang, but it got overshadowed. The bad news got overshadowed the coolness of the helmet. So wearable T50, is that T51B? Is that right?
Yeah, T51B.
Okay, because I haven't played Fallout. So power armor helmet with voice modulator and headlamp. That's pretty cool. Glow in the dark map, figurines, and the AKA infamous duffel bag. MSRP $199.99. Did you guys ever consider getting the power armor helmet at all? I know I didn't. I was like, nah, I'm not a big Fallout fan.
Consider when I first saw it, just because I enjoyed the OG Fallout and Fallout 2 a lot.
Mhm.
I wasn't super hyped for 76. At the time, I was working for the company we were working for, James, and I was repping, and we were in Nashville when they were getting ready to talk about Fallout 76, so I got to see some stuff early on it, so I was excited for it, and then we saw what happened at launch. But as a fan of like the older Fallouts, like that helmet is iconic. So as someone who like grew up with the old school games, seeing that, I'm like, I can finally own and wear that helmet from this like iconic game series, at least to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely thought about it, man, until I saw the price.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because like I think the helmet was the key image in like Fallout 2, right? Like that's how you remember that game, by seeing that image. So this is iconic. You're right, and I feel like any fan would be like, "This is so cool!" Like finally,
this one was from this one was like the OG Fallout 1 game, like the box art.
Yeah,
it was just like that helmet, like front and center. Like that was always that right next to the Interplay logo, like just like set off childhood sparks in my head.
See here, Scorpio says he got the 76 edition box, but still disappointed. Sorry to hear that, bud. All right, so takers on price. Right now, I only saw the helmet by itself, not with the bag or any other stuff. And there has been a new, which means this guy never opened the damn helmet or the damn box for the helmet, at least. Let's go with, okay, this one has the bag and the box. Okay, let's do this one. This one's fair. All right, what do you guys think is what people are asking for this open box?
Open box, I'd probably say, because I mean, again, even outside of the issue with the bag, everything else coming with it, I'd say probably around $500, $550.
Scorpio with a $700 drop. He's not going to
well, after the last game. I'm like not too surprised. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm going to lowball this again. I think like closer to 3. I don't think 76 is as like sought after as like Titanfall is, especially with all like the chatter lately, like the Fallout, or sorry, not Fallout, but Titanfall 3 rumors and stuff. I don't know. I'm going to say 300. I'm going to lowball it.
Okay.
Did you say that the box was open, but the helmet's still like in its plastic? Like
yeah. So the one that I'm looking at, I'm trying to be like as local as possible, like not overseas or anything like that. This one is open box, and this one also has the bag with it as well, and then the figures. So just like what you see here, but open.
420.
Okay. We got 300. You said 300, Nick, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna
300, 420. Ace, what did you say again?
550.
550, and we got 700 over here. Okay. All right. So this guy's listing from Oliverhurst, California. on eBay is asking for open box $250. All right, not bad. For the helmet, I see like an average around $150, $130, and there's a new one which has never been opened for $450. That cardboard box being sealed is expensive, boys.
Oh, totally.
It always
totally.
is.
You know, some people like crave the new game smell, right? So they buy it new regardless. So it's worth it for them. All right. You know, man, hopefully they make the next one like good. I'm not gonna say good because I haven't played the other ones, but more acceptable towards the fans, I guess.
I was shocked to find out people are still playing Fallout 76.
Well,
that's all they have. Right?
every year I hear it's on there and it has new content, and that's the thing about it. Like it's in its whatever its current form is apparently loved by the community. Like wherever they have it right now, they're still making content, they're still supporting it. I would say it's got a flip like, you know, No Man's Sky or anything like that, which is having another iteration released. But the fact that it's still around, it's still stable, there's still people playing it, like that's pretty cool. I remember it was like a year ago, like Phil Spencer was still playing it and someone nuked his base in game. Like there was a whole thing about that too.
Shit.
Like
there's like Space Lab and all that stuff in No Man's Sky too. So gotta get them.
I feel like when you're like you know, when you're a person of notoriety like Phil Spencer, right? You got to come in those games with like security and like base.
Well, that was the whole thing about it too. Like people were leaving his base alone because they recognized his gamer tag. You know, he's very open about that in the community. People were leaving it alone until he pissed off the community by some Xbox decision or whatever, and then they nuked it, kind of thing. Like that's just the gaming.
I love it.
Community, unfortunately.
That's so great. Like,
don't you turn on us, Phil? We'll nuke your base.
Hey, bringing the power to the people. That's what happens. All right. Give them a nuke.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is kind of like a follow-up from last week where we saw the Doom Eternal helmet, right? And that was super cool. This one here, we're going backwards. We're going to take you back to the past where helmets look like retro video game boxes. So this one here is the limited edition collector's bundle classic Doom helmet. So we're going
that is rad.
Right? I need that.
Full-size wearable replica from the original Doom Slayer, detailed battle damage painting, inner adjustable head straps. Right, definitely not the size for my head because this is still small. It's huge, and the floppy disk is hilarious because it's a pin, right? And you're getting a print of the OG art, which is super cool. I would love to have that, regardless. Probably displayed it, you know, or something like that. But this is a super cool limited edition that was printed by a limited run, I believe. So,
man, floppy disk pin. I actually want to get the floppy disk itself.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I had it from CompUSA message from the OGs there. And it was the shareware version. Also.
Yes.
So yeah, I know a lot of people didn't know about this because this was not public in like normal stores. This was only a limited run from the company itself, limited run. Let me see what I have for pricing on this. So pricing on this, surprisingly, was released in 2020, $139.99. So, but with that said, you're only really getting the helmet. You don't get the game. So, super cool, like collector's edition for sure.
Yeah, I tons of people wanted this. It's the classic Doom helmet.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like having like all the helmets for Doom is like just something as a gamer should just have. If you love Doom, you know, like aside from having that BFG gun that I saw that they recently printed.
Where I at this point I'm I wouldn't say upset, but I'm kind of surprised that we never got like, I mean, it's Nintendo, so I'm not surprised if we ever got like old school Nintendo stuff redone, but done with like releases like this, not with helmets, but like some of the crystals from like Ocarina of Time. Like the three crystals. I would love to get like those in a box set kind of thing. Like you get all three from each of the temples. Like,
what a Samus helmet for Metroid Prime 4?
Now you're cooking with gas, bro.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't right now because you got to watch out for those tariff prices. Those helmets will be insane.
Oh, painful but fair.
All right, so is it 139.99, 140. There's still a lot of listings for this bad boy online, and some are overinflated, of course. And there's a lot of been solds recently. So for example, I'll give you kind of an idea here. The last listing that was sold was actually yesterday with one bid. All right, so that's the most recent price. Care to take a stab at how much that bid was?
Well, I mean, it's limited run. So taking that into consideration, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd go too high like I normally would think.
That's a good
But I'm
choice.
definitely thinking at least. I'm definitely thinking at least 600.
Nah, I was signing 6. I was going 6. So I'm going to go 601.
Don't you price us right, me.
For the steal.
I want to say 550, and I only say that
550?
because I have an LRG exclusive that I thought was going to go up in price, and it's literally stayed stagnant since I got it. So
That's the
LRG is
tricky thing. Yeah.
LRG is
yeah.
kind of like some things are like really, really expensive, and other things are not. So yeah, I'd say 550.
550?
550.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they last sold yesterday, April 14th, eBay with one winning bid. Went for 325.
Hey,
Okay.
okay.
And the last 30 days, the lowest I've seen it was for 175. Keep in mind, brand new sealed 175. And the highest I've seen it, this is crazy, right? Because this is just a gamble, and you find it on a good day or a bad day. The highest I've seen it for the last 30 days, $445.
I'd buy that for $1.
That's still not bad.
Yeah, not bad. It's definitely like a cool part of history, right? I feel like I love the battle damage, by the way. Super cool.
Oh yeah,
Super cool. But yeah, that is the classic Doom helmet. With that, so wearable classic Doom helmet, full size battle worn replica, metal pin, high print iconic cover. It does not include the game itself in pure bold. Okay, so there it is. Now with the next one, I'm going to share with you. It's actually something that isn't even out yet, right? So this is TBA. Last week we talked about the popularity of Elden Ring and the Millennia helmet selling for like $2,000, right? Around that. So they're continuing that theme with their Elden Ring Nightreign game coming out in April or May. I'm sorry, with the Helmet of the Wylder, which is a class in Nightreign. Right, that's the guy right there.
well that's tight.
Okay, so I actually beta tested it was a closed beta to test out the network, right? And I played the Wylder, and the Wylder is like your standard character that you see on all trailers. So it's pretty cool. This is just a helmet. MSRP is $189.99. They're still available for pre-order. Limited one per person, of course. But there's only going to be 9,999 of these made with a certificate of authenticity.
That's a fair amount of release, though, for that. Like Quad 9, it's not going to be a small amount. I don't think this will go as high as the last one we featured, like last week. Which one was that? That was just
the Millennia helmet.
Yeah, like that one was. I couldn't believe the prices that was going for. Now that we know, like with hindsight, where that game is, I'm not surprised. I don't imagine this one's going to go for a lot. Maybe some years down the line, it'll go for more. Depends if they keep
I think
pumping
so.
out these games.
I feel like you're right with that. Also, it could take the other direction where it was so obscure, it's even more expensive, right? Because usually it's like they're either really popular, everybody wants it, or there just wasn't enough people that got it. So it's really obscure, and then it's really rare to see. Like, for example, do you guys remember that Nier Automata released a black box edition of their game? It's a collector's edition of the game. I think that's going for like $3,000 right now because nobody knew that thing came out. So it's super rare. But yeah, it's a chance to get a piece of Elden Ring. If you missed the Millennia helmet, you don't want to spend $2,000. Get the Wylder helmet.
Just
Yeah.
while we're on the topic, I shared my screen. This one was just announced by Limited Run. I really wanted to bring this up because I think it's hilarious. This is the Will It Run edition of Doom and Dude 2. Like,
Everybody go.
we're losing people.
Yo, where'd Ace go? It just vanished. Oh, will it run? And they ran away.
Yeah, will they run away from me? Apparently.
Yeah, what happened there, bud?
I have no idea.
They're like, too many images.
Yeah. Well, that aside, I wanted to bring this up just because it's one of those collector's editions that Limited Run does that just like immediately called to me. I love this because it's literally a box that plays Doom and Doom 2. Like, you can play the game on that box, and then it comes with all these other things, including a handheld Cacodemon, which plays Doom
That's
as
so
well. The floating Cacodemon on a magnetic base, a cassette soundtrack set on top of like the big box stuff that's in there. It's just another one of these, like, you don't know what's this gonna sell for in the end. But I saw this. I love the tongue-in-cheek take and the fact it's limited to 666 copies. Like,
Yeah, I
they are
love that.
leaning into it. So every once in a while, Limited Run has these like collector's editions that come along where I'm just like, this is just damn cool, and I want it.
All right, he's back.
Okay.
Hey, there I am.
Okay, so we're all back. Everything is, up and running for the most part.
The Doom haters got us.
Right. He said, will it run? And they did.
And they ran. Yeah. No, this is super cool. It's like, to me, this is like getting a small arcade of Doom, right?
Yeah. It literally will run Doom in the box that you get it in. And I don't know.
That's
It's
so
just, I
Doom.
just think it's stupid funny, and it has Sigil and Sigil 2 in it. It's just, that's a fair amount of content. So I'm in.
That's super neat. I love that idea. What's it going for?
It looks like it is still in pre-production. I don't know if this price is right. It says 66666.
Oh my god!
And I'm out.
$66. All right, no, it's better. No, it's crazy. Big news.
No, speaking of awesome first-person shooter collections, thanks for reminding me. I'm going to go ahead and pick this up right now.
Oh, this thing?
No, not that. No, I'm grabbing the Rise of the Triad Ludicrous Edition.
No, not
Ludicrous Edition. Nice. All right, we're not done yet, guys. We got one more piece. I wanted to surprise the chat, but we're still on the Doom train. As you know, Dark Ages comes out next month, and they're continuing the carnage, the ripping and the tearing with the latest helmet, the prequel to Doom Eternal and Doom, with the Dark Age version of the helmet, which is a super like more metal version of the helmet itself.
Oh my god, that is
Oh,
dope.
that's sick.
Yep. Super cool. Completely wearable. There's a whole, I think there's an image right here where a guy's wearing. So there you go. The only thing that I would ask for is maybe down the road they make the shield, because the shield is what's the addition to Dark Age.
Is that being worn by that person, or is it just photoshopped over a stock model? That picture's a little sus.
The contrasting suit too good.
Yeah, it does sort of look like that, doesn't it?
That, or maybe like the shirt itself was done in like old school Doom. Okay, there we go. That's better.
Yeah, it's just so stark green.
Happy?
You know, it actually looks like a Mecha Ninja Turtle helmet. That's what it looks like.
That's almost, yeah. We're getting into like different timelines. Turtles.
What the? It's the spikes on the helmet that seal the deal for me.
Hell yeah, brother!
That is metal AF.
This is like, if you've been collecting Doom things,
on the bottom, yeah.
This is the helmet to get. Like, this is the latest, the greatest. 175 USD available at the Bethesda store. So you can definitely pick this up. And I love, by the way, how they're splitting the collector, the replica, the helmet outside of the game, giving more opportunities for people to just buy the helmet versus the whole thing, right? Dropping the price down, right, a little bit more, and just giving more options. I think having the options is great. to have it
So
set.
175.
175. It appears as in Dark Ages with LED lighting effects, LED placement on front, both sides, and the back of the helmet with 4 locations. I think it's the red portions of the helmet. I think they have a shot of it right here. So this would be the front. This guy up. Right? These LEDs would light up right there. There's one on the head too. Right, so all the red lights, and then there's one in the back as well. So super cool, super cool. Yeah, love it. I love it. Bethesda, keep killing it, man. Their collectible store has been fantastic for their fans. Yeah, I love seeing all their collectibles there. So fun. Also, if you're feeling like you want to burn more of your wallet, just keep in mind that this is not a sponsored stream, but I did pre-order this and I am looking forward to it. Super cool.
Sick.
Giving him a fur cape has been the coolest thing I've ever seen on the Doomslayer. That's all I'm saying.
It's like we were talking about a couple days ago, giving mechs cloaks. All right.
Yeah, giving mechs, it's unnecessary, but it's so cool.
It looks so good. Yeah, dude.
Him having a shield too. It's like the only thing he's missing is probably like a big. I know he has the sword still,
like a big ass claymore on his back or something.
Yeah, or I feel like a ball and chain would be more appropriate for him. Like just something more medieval.
Okay.
With that cloak, the fur cloak is just giving me like Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, that's exactly more savage, right? More savage. But yes, guys, that is check this out. All right, what we got next? We got, of course, everyone's favorite segment, This Week in Gaming History. God, that's so good. Welcome to the show, Jace. That's our intro.
I love it. I love it.
You love it. All right, great. All right, so of course, if it's your first time here, This Week in Gaming History is where we kind of catch you up on things that are happening for this day in gaming history, starting from this Sunday all the way, or recently Sunday all the way to Saturday. So it would be the 13th to the 19th for this one. All right, let's rock and roll, boys. What we got here? If it loads up. As you know, we got from the intro song, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past was released on 4/13/1992 on the Super Nintendo in the US. So arguably my favorite Zelda game.
Same.
And everybody has theirs. This one just did it for me. Yeah, I don't know. What about you guys? Like, I know Jay said this was his favorite. What Zelda game just floats your boat?
Well, this one is definitely up there as far as my favorites. I mean, again, I've talked about this a few times about, there was one point where my brother had actually gotten the chance to borrow and was eventually gifted a toolbox of Super NES games from one of his friends on the football team. And it included that right there. It included Link to the Past, Final Fantasy III, Chrono Trigger, Secret of Evermore, and Super Mario RPG.
That is literally my game collection right there.
Yeah, that's like the most expensive like shoebox of games that generation could probably.
Wishing I had
copies of Earthbound are in there too.
I'm so mad I lost that in the move.
Oh no! Somebody else is saying the same story now.
Awful.
Yeah. Yo, guys, check this out.
Although my favorite Zelda game, it should come as no surprise to anyone here or anyone that has known me for even 5 minutes. Favorite Zelda game, Hyrule Warriors.
Of course. Why did I even second guess?
Huh.
Yeah.
Jason, if you don't know our show by now, Ace loves Dynasty.
Okay.
I give him shit for it every time. Whenever we have Ace is going to talk about something in this day in gaming history. It must be a Dynasty Warriors Samurai Warriors game.
He's our man of the Muso. That's what we call him.
The Muso Master. Mine is Ocarina of Time. I didn't have a Super back in the day when I was younger.
Right. You got our Sega. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a Genesis because we found one at a garage sale. Like we weren't a household where we can get the latest and greatest kind of stuff, so I didn't get a Super till much later, and I didn't play Link to the Past till much later. So
Yeah.
Ocarina was my jam after the original NES one. I played that one a lot because we did have that when I was growing up. But Ocarina was the one that got me really deep into it, and then I was honestly surprised by other ones after that. So yeah, that was my entry.
Awesome. You know, I don't know if you play this, Nick, but I think Jace would know the answer to this. They had their own version of Legend of Zelda with the same look and feel, right? What was that game called in the Sega Genesis? Do you,
Oh, I want to say that. God, it's on the tip of my tongue. I own it, for Christ's sake.
yeah, I know because I remember
Beyond Oasis.
Beyond Oasis, yes. It was like you can you look at it like next to Link to the Past, you're like, wow, okay, thanks, Sega. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, legit.
Yeah,
same game.
that was in the Sega Genesis mini re-release consoles. Beyond
Oh,
Oasis.
really? Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. All right. Other games that were released.
Cartridge of that, not realizing it didn't have a battery, so it's basically.
It doesn't have a battery for it.
No, I think it was probably like a Chinese knockoff or something.
I mean, that's cool though. If it didn't have, sucks that it's Chinese. Other games that were released this day on the 13th, Crystalis on the NES in 1990 in Japan. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Conviction. That's a game I would love to see remastered, released again on the 360 in 2010. Fez on the 360 in 2012. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection 1 and 2 for the PS4 in 2023 in Japan. I had to throw that in there for Jace.
Hell yeah.
He's our mega boy. All right. Also, in 1984, Williams Electronic Games Inc. is formed to take over Williams pinball and video game businesses. They helped develop Narc, Smash TV, and more before splitting up their video game division to Midway and exclusively branding pinball machines again. I think we talked about this, Nick, right? That Williams was like in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And then
So
I
was
actually
Midway.
saw, yeah, I actually saw the building that had Williams on it, and I think Bally was there as well. I never went into it, but I was like, hey, that's the video game. As a kid, I was like, I've seen that sign before in a video game.
Well, I mean, I feel like getting the chance to actually head out to Chicago and see the Williams building would be the same as being able to like head out to Tokyo or head out to Osaka to see the old S&K building.
Yeah, I see. Arguably, I think that's part of like American gaming history, right? For sure, like the Midway and the Williams building. It's just like I just never thought about it to that degree when I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
The world was smaller back then.
Even when you're older too, it's still like if you really follow the industry, if you're really interested in gaming, even stuff where you're not a fan of the team. I remember PAX one year, we were going to an event and we found the Ubisoft building downtown one time, like just one of their offices, me and a couple of my friends. So even though I wasn't a big fanboy and they weren't a big like fan person as well, like the fact that we saw it was a company we knew, we loved Assassin's Creed. It was like, that's still really cool. You still get hyped about it, and you took a selfie in front of it kind of thing. It's like, oh, check this out.
Yeah. There you go. Yo, that should be a thing, guys. Take a photo somewhere. Yo, check this out. Hashtag yo, check this out. That'd be sick. Nice. Oh, that's awesome. All right. So the next one here, 14th, we got ourselves 414 Golden Sun: The Lost Age on the Game Boy Advance, came out in 2003. I haven't not personally played any Golden Sun games, but I have seen them like many times because they were a Nintendo branded game, first party, right? I think. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, of course, but like it was one of those games where you had to get like a Nintendo system to play. Right? So
yeah, and I actually sat down and was able to play a little bit of the first game, and it is a pretty solid turn-based RPG. Like it, it definitely has that. It has that Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest feel to it.
Okay. Yeah. I saw like some screenshots. It looked pretty good. Like this was like the kind of the peak pixel art era, right? Mm-hmm. Before like indie took it over.
Yeah.
I always loved Go ahead.
And I mean, Golden Sun and Golden Sun: The Lost Age were two games that definitely, I'd say those were two games that definitely took advantage of the GBA hardware.
Yeah. Like looking at this, the first thing that comes to mind is like, will this get like a Octopath treatment? Like
Oh.
I would love that. Like I don't know if that's like a big thing at Nintendo right now, if that's like what they're aiming for, but I feel like this would get an awesome Octopath treatment for this kind of game.
And since y'all did set up the self-fulfilling prophecy, I do have to mention something Dynasty Warriors related here.
I know there were some GBA titles.
Exactly. There was a GBA Dynasty Warriors title that was, I believe that one was specifically based off of Dynasty Warriors 5.
Of course you would know that lore deep dive and mechanic system there in the back of his head. Like Scorpio said in chat, like I remember when the GBA SP came out and people were all about that. There's a lot of games that looked fantastic on that system. A lot of those cards, a lot of those games hold up still super well to this day, despite being, small screens, older hardware kind of thing. Like they look incredible, especially if you get one of the, what is it, the AGS 101 models, the brighter screen models too. Like choice.
Seriously, it really makes me think that, like, I don't know if they actually did release it on the GBA, but Breath of Fire 3 and 4 would have been so dope to have on the go.
I think it was purely Super Nintendo.
I know, yeah. One
Breath of
and
Fire
2
3 came out on PS1,
and then 3
PlayStation,
and 4 on
PS1.
Yeah.
It was it's because of the CG screens, right? They have to do like on disc, right? That was the big thing.
Voice on Breath of Fire 3 as well.
Scorpio said that's what I had. GBSP was great, foldable and fit in early 2000s jeans.
Hey man, remember when you could stuff like your entire locker in your Jinko jeans though? I don't know. You downgraded.
Put your Trapper Keeper in there, dude. I'm all about that.
Damn near.
All right, other games were to come out that Pokemon Pinball on the Game Boy Color in 1999 in Japan. Postal 2 on the PC in 2003. That's a big contrast. Demigod on the PC in 2009. And you have to remind me what that one was. And Titan Souls on the PC, Mac, PS4, and Vita in 2015. So what is the Demigod?
Demigod was a gas-powered games thing for Windows, the like Windows game platform thing. I just remember it because it was a multiplayer online like battle arena thing where you ended up fighting. Let's see if I can pull some gameplay for it. I remember seeing that on the This Day in Gaming History and be like, I remember seeing the cover art for it. You would recognize the cover art working in that store together.
I'm sure, yeah.
You can play,
no doubt.
Let's see, there's some
gameplay. I see Warriors. Let's go. Chibi Warriors.
Pull. Oh man, this person, whoever they are, I'm not going to pull up on the screen because I don't want to name and shame, but they put this 4K gameplay and it's just running around in town and it hurts my brain.
Oh boy.
Oh wow. 2003, 2009. Okay.
Yeah, and the reason I said you'll recognize the cover art just because we saw it a lot, not one people bought a lot of, because again, it kind of like popped out during that like games for Windows thing. You can only find them in those specific like plastic cases, and not a lot of people bought it because you had to have Windows, you had to have their platform. I just remember giving this a shot because I was looking for more like online games at the time because I was really like deep into like those kind of games, those deep cuts. I was playing a lot of like World of Warcraft and Ion and Rift and a lot of random offshoots. Like I have my collector's edition for Tabula Rasa still, that failed game, but this was that cover art.
I immediately thought of EA for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, for me, it was the dev was Stardock, and there's a bunch of
Okay.
Stardock games that I ended up getting. I think one of them was like Sins of the Solar Empire, I believe, was Stardock as well, and I remember playing that. Anyway, that was just something that I saw on that. And I had to bring it up just because it was unique with that cover art, and it was like someone had look at his pauldrons are like towers. The dude
Yeah.
has towers for pauldrons.
For our Final Fantasy fans, that looks like the Alexander summon.
I was
You
gonna
guys,
say that
Yeah,
so familiar. I think you're right
Yeah.
about the Alexander summon.
At least in Final Fantasy VIII, like because I know they take different forms, but the Alexander summon, that's what it reminds me of. So super cool. Right on. All right, Demigod with the name drop. Love it. Love it. All right, what we got next here? All right, the 15th. Making sure. All right, today will be great. Okay, 15th. Baseball Stars 2 came out in the arcade in 1992. Now, I was like, of course, we were just talking about this in the back room before the show. And I was talking about how we needed another like NFL Blitz, NBA Jam, maybe Baseball Stars 3 would be cool, like, or something like that. Like, I just remember this game being super colorful, super loud, and super dynamic. It made baseball super hype for what I remember as a retro game.
The lack of respect in your voice for NHL hits is
Well,
telling.
Yeah,
I
well,
love that series. How dare you?
I know it's great, but before NHL Hits, I played a game called Hit the Ice, which was before NHL Hits. So
Wayne Gretzky
Blades of
3D
Steel.
hockey.
yeah, that was pretty much a fighting game with hockey.
Yeah.
Like you play a fighting game and a hockey game breaks out.
Yeah, you said Wayne Gretzky on the Super Nintendo. I
Yeah,
remember
that
that
was,
game.
in my opinion, that was the equivalent of like NBA Jam and Blitz.
But we were
Yeah,
talking behind the scenes about this one. This one was very unique. A lot of my childhood memories centered around seeing this at the bowling alley, where we go and play, and they have
Yeah.
that Neo Geo MVS case in
Yep.
the corner, and Baseball Stars would be on there, and it was very unique, like you said, dynamic, colorful, loud, really cool, over the top. I loved the style of it.
Look at that. That's so cool. Like it had personality, you know. A little bit of zing into it.
I do like the moving faces too, like the portraits gives them a
Yeah.
lot of like
there was so much
attitude too.
going on. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was very.
It makes
flashy.
me wonder why they didn't put a baseball character on the U.S. sports team.
Hey, you stop that. We got Pac-Man and Mega Man and Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I won't forgive you. Not even we're talking about box cover Mega Man. All right.
Oh,
The
speaking of
gun.
box cover Mega Man, they added that fat son of a bitch to the list of body characters for Ultimate Marvel 3.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh my god, he's back. Are you serious?
Yep.
That's wild. All right. Some other games that came out on the 15th. Oh, that's a cool image. Jagged Alliance on the DOS in 1995. I didn't know that game went that far back because I knew they have a newer one. So that's cool. That's good to know. Bust the Groove 2 on PlayStation in 1999 in Japan. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror and Game Boy Advance in 2004 in Japan. Gran Turismo 5 on the PS3 in 2008. No More Heroes Paradise on the PS3 360 in 2010 in Japan. Trial Fusion on the PS4 in 2014 and MK3 in 1995 in the arcades.
Game.
Now, MK3 is highlighted here by Ace, so I got to hear this story.
Yeah. So I remember I think it was last week when we were talking about it, but I mentioned how, I was the fatality kid in my class when Mortal Kombat 3 came out. And yeah, that was like, after school, I would go, I'd go to the arcade at the pizza place where I usually go. This is the spot where I played, Street Fighter Alpha. I played, Ivan Stewart's Super Off-Road.
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat 2 was there for the longest time. And one summer, I remember going there, and for some odd reason, I was looking to play MK2 that day. Didn't see it at the pizza place. But later on that evening, when I went to go and visit my uncle, who lived nearby, there was this pool hall in an arcade right behind the apartments where he lived. And it was there that I got the chance to play MK3 for the first time. And I was shook because there was no Scorpion on the rock. I'm like,
and Sub-Zero looked really different.
right?
Yeah.
You know,
Like there was no Scorpion.
suit.
Sub-Zero looked different. I had no clue what was going on, and that shit caught my attention. I was like, hey, wait a minute, what is going on here? What is going on with Mortal Kombat 3? And then I see the characters running at each other, not like Cabal speed dash. I mean, just running and then doing the combos, and I'm going,
yeah.
tell me.
Yeah, that was the big difference. The big shift from MK2 to MK3 was the run button and also the ability to do those combos like that. Seamless combos. From my understanding, it was their version. It was their way to attract gamers away from Killer Instinct, because that was the hotness at the time. And
in a lot of cases, it worked.
Yeah, and some still argue that they like two better, just the way it felt and everything. So, but I think combos is really what, the future of fighting games. It feels good to just go ham like that.
Yeah. And like this right here, not only was it, the start of, the actual combos in Mortal Kombat, which eventually led to the brutalities in Ultimate Mortal Kombat and an MK trilogy, but this was also when, one particular person that I follow on Twitter, when Carrie Ann Hoskins showed up as Sonya. And
oh yeah.
You take a look at her nowadays, she hasn't aged.
No, she made a deal with Shao Kahn, bro.
Right? She stole someone's soul.
Yeah. It looks exactly the same, and she definitely made a deal with the Mortal Kombat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny, like Dan Pacina, aka Johnny Cage from H2 games, like he's been living it up. He shows up at arcades and does cameos and stuff. Also, the guys I think the guy that played Kano, he does that too.
Yeah.
And then Philip, forgot his last name. Philip. He played Shang Tsung in the second one. He lives it up too. Like he's a doctor, right? And he like goes to conventions as Shang Tsung. So
amazing.
Talk about how you own up to it, right?
Yeah.
Super cool. So MK3.
I remember this game looking good on the Super Nintendo as well.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it definitely was because the battle back then for the retro consoles was like, do I get the same experience at home, right? But to shove an arcade machine level quality to a 16-bit cartridge is pretty impressive. You got to give it up to these tech wizards, man.
It eventually
I want to say the Super Nintendo version didn't have the parallax though. I think that's how they kind of.
That was one of them, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, by the way.
And of course there were still some frames that were cut, right? So yeah, there were some frames that were cut. And that's kind of how the same was with Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
They faked it a lot, which to me, if I still felt like I was playing Killer Instinct, it was still good, My man just punched him through the ceiling and gets hit by a train. Mortal Kombat, everybody. Woohoo!
That is not how you were supposed to catch a train. Well, too bad.
I see what you did there. Now, speaking of games that need to be remade, and y'all made fun of me because I didn't know NHL hits. On the 16th. Oh, where did Nick go? Man, everyone's just been getting.
Man, we got.
There you go. Yeah, you ran away.
Dropping like flies today, aren't we?
No, I just had to reload. I lost chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so did I.
NHL. Red Card 2003 was the soccer version NBA Jam and NHL hits. Just another one of those arcade sports games that we all seem to be missing and loving. And hopefully it comes back, because I would love to see the Street series come back from EA also.
Well, if they did something like FIFA Street, or if they brought back Red Card for 2025, Cristiano Ronaldo would be somewhere in that.
Oh, 100%. And he'd be like the Jordan. Everybody would want to pick him and nobody else.
Yep.
They would just sell copies like left and But yeah, look, take a look at the bottom. Midway Sports. We were just talking about that. So they were like kind of the king of arcade sports games at the time, right? This was kind of like at the tail end of the sports game. Like Blitz was dying off. I think Hang Time was like the last of the basketball games. I think it was NBA Showtime.
Yeah. Showtime was the
Not very good.
Midway arcade one.
Not very good.
Not very good.
What's Red Card? Smoking Scorpion. Red Card is the soccer version or football, if you're European. Or no, sorry, if you're outside of the United States, I should say that. Of the NFL Blitz, you can bash somebody's knees in and slide right into their ankle and pick a fight with them. It's the super hype version of soccer. Do you have gameplay of it, Nick?
I can pull it up, but I found it's not a great quality, but it's the reason this game is so funny. It's a lot like the hit series where you can have like custom, well, not custom, but like unlocked avatars and stuff. Let's see if I can share it.
Brian McBride. It looks like he's trying to decide between a bear claw and a maple bar.
What the heck? Is actually a samurai guy? What is this?
All this Matrix shit. Oh, I love it.
Is this Red Card?
Yeah.
Red
Card 2003, my man.
Oh my
These
god!
are just some of the unlocks that you can get with it.
Oh, I
mean,
see.
if you look at just like the normal gameplay of it, it's a soccer game, but it's over the top. Like that dolphin, that's the keeper. Like,
yeah, I was like, what is that?
Oh, this is like this is exactly the vibe I get from something like World Cup Soccer on the NES.
Yeah.
It's goofy, it's fun with the
Mario
unlocks.
Strikers.
Like Strike, yes, like, it's exactly like Strikers. Nintendo chains.
Yeah, which I'm gonna have to. I should reinstall that on my Switch.
So this is like I said, I feel like this type of genre.
Oh, look at the celebration!
What is that?
Baboon.
Oh my god!
They had to zoom in on the dolphin though.
His red ass cheeks.
No, run away! Oh my god, I would be so salty if that. Look at this replay.
No, don't do it. No.
Oh my god. He accidentally picked it up because his legs magnetized the ball when he was in the goal. That sucks.
This one was on PS2?
Yeah, PS2.
God, it looks pretty good for PS2.
I'm gonna have to see if I can get that.
Yeah, no, this is like I said, there are a lot of games like this that nobody took notice because Madden was the thing, right? MLB was the thing of those times. They were going for stick.
And by this time, let's be honest, Blitz had kind of been on the downturn for a while.
Yeah.
It wasn't as popular anymore, especially after like, I want to say 2001 was the last one I remember a lot of people playing Blitz.
Yeah.
So this came out, a couple years after that.
And I mean, EA Sports was coming in to take their lunch money.
And even the last Blitz game, they added like, because it was like 7v7, but they added 10 people, I think, on the field because like they wanted to make it more realistic. They were trying to get that market share, right?
Oh my god!
Yo, is he dabbing?
You remember when we did very early on when we were talking about doing streaming stuff back in the day, before it was like as prevalent as it is now. We played Blitz the League 2 together. We streamed that.
I still have it. It's on the channel, man. We still have it.
Oh no!
I'm pretty sure the stuff we said in that game would get us banned.
Oh,
insane.
Without question.
It was pretty raw for like what I don't know what year that was. 2014 maybe, right?
A long time ago.
Yeah, man, I was watching some of it and I was like, oh boy. Ooh. All right, other games that came out because I can watch this. Ultima 7, The Black Gate, 1992. What the fuck?
Just keep going.
Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. Aliens Online on the PC in 1990. I remember seeing that game, but Spider-Man on the GBA, GameCube, PC, PS2, and Xbox in 2002, as if the movie just came out or something. Injustice: The Gods Among Us on the PS3, Wii U, and 360 in 2013. World War Z on the PC, PS4, Xbox One in 2019. And who else? We cannot forget the legendary game Drug Dealer Simulator on the PC in 2020. So it was a great day for gaming.
Great.
My next question is, what kind of drugs? He's just passing out sugar to the community.
Just bags of oregano.
That's
Yo,
sucralose,
kids,
dude. It'll get you.
drink the sugar. All right. And the 17th here, we got, Rygar on the NES in 1987 in Japan. I've never seen this box art before because I've always been used to the US box. So, but this is definitely much more colorful and flavorful than the other.
Like chibi style too.
Yeah, it's very Japanese in the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
if you wouldn't have told me that was Rygar, I would have said it was like some sort of Kid Icarus like bootleg or something.
It
right?
does kind of have that
That's
vibe.
kind of what I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah.
Well, he looks like
Yeah.
Icarus from Super Smash. So,
Or like I would say, like, is this the box art to Little Samson in Japan? You know. But it also says Tecmo, so I would have to be like, what Tecmo? For this, yeah. Any you guys familiar with Rygar? I know that Rygar is kind of a legendary classic.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there were days where I would actually sit down and like go between playing Rygar and Bionic Commando just to like compare how the two games played, even with that same grappling line mechanic. But I also remember, wasn't there a Rygar game on the PS2?
Yes, sir. That was released to combat the God of War games, and it was actually pretty good from what I remember. So.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to pick that one up.
Why Smoking Scorpio says, why is Wonder Woman using Captain America's shield to kill Leonidas?
That is a great question.
We're in the end game now.
boy.
Bro, that is like 3 licenses that Tecmo cannot afford.
Oh,
Might have been able to at the time, though.
And Ace, I'm glad you brought it up. I really hope Tecmo does something with Rygar because that game was actually pretty good from what I remember. Like controlling the disc was like pretty similar to Kratos' chain blades, right? Because it was a shield attached to chains, and I thought that was super cool. You were literally playing legendary, like mythological Captain America, so super cool. From what I remember. Other games that came out that day: Ninja Kid on the NES in 1986 in Japan, Heroes of Might and Magic: Quest for the Dragon Bone Staff on the PS2 in 2001, No One Lives Forever, PS2 and 2002, Final Fantasy XI on the PC and PS2 in 2003 in Japan, and Yakuza 6: The Song of Life on the PS4 in 2018. And I think we have some Yakuza footage here.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I still need to finish 6.
I need to
Heresy.
play a Yakuza game. Period. I've been watching a lot of Let's Plays of these games.
Oh my
recently,
god!
and
Do we?
Yeah,
do
well,
we do-
you just
especially
insulted.
the really goofy one.
Oh no! Oh no!
Wow.
Andre,
It's okay,
where are you in
James.
chat, my man? We
I have
gotta
not
get on this.
played the Yakuza games.
Am I
But look,
getting
guys,
that
look.
stream?
I'm doing better because this just showed up in the mail. All right, I'm just saying I'm trying to do good this year.
Yeah, you're trying, but you picked the wrong one for your Y game for this year. I still, to this day, and we say it just about like once a week now, Shoes, but if you get a chance and if you're ever interested in giving a shot, he just left. He's like, screw this. I don't need to hear about Yakuza games. Holy shit.
I probably had to refresh chat.
Yeah, probably. But still there. Okay, now you got to hear about it. You're not getting away from this. If you gotta play one, play Yakuza 0. Play it to start.
I've heard that before. So okay,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna write that down.
a great entry level to it. More than happy to be in chat and be blowing you up while you're doing that. Andre and I talk about it every week. Just because we're such huge fans. And 6, I wanted to highlight for myself in this one because for 2 reasons. The first off being Sega with this series and RGG Studio. Amazing work with their collector's editions. This is one of my favorites because it sold for $80. It was only 80, so it's only 20 more than the game was at the time. It came with 2 whiskey glasses that were laser etched with his dragon tattoo on them.
That's right.
Whiskey
This is the one that came with
stones.
the. This is the one that came with the
Yep, the whole
glass.
pack.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it came with whiskey stones as well, and it came with tatami mat coasters. Like it
Oh.
was one of the reasons I love that studio is because when they release collector's editions, you get bang for your buck. You always get a fair amount of stuff. It's always like super relevant to the series,
Oh yeah.
and they don't charge you a super premium for it. Not a single one of the collector's editions that I bought. Some of the overseas ones definitely are hard to get a hold of and spendy nowadays. But this one was one of my favorites. I will say six. The other reason I wanted to mention it, it took me a little bit longer to beat. It was a little bit of a departure with the story. Kazuya is a little bit older, a little bit further in the story. And for me, especially, I'm going to go back and replay this because there's, as always, the mini games in these series take on a little bit of a different thing like every single time. But this one was memed on a little bit because one of the songs where he sings, he gives like a thumbs up on a boat like this, and that became a GIF for a while. And then on top of that, one of the mini games on this is you have to calm a baby because there's a baby in the story, so he has to like kind of like move it around a little bit to like calm it down. And I'm going to be a dad soon, so I'm going to have to replay it and see how I feel about how accurate it is.
Stop your Death Stranding and get that baby to calm down.
Yeah, right. A little bit different. But yeah, this was supposed to be the original end of Kiryu's story, where he walks off into the sunset kind of thing. So it was supposed to be the end of an era. So I bought it day one. Great collector's edition. I still recommend it, but I will say, like, compared to the other ones, it's maybe not as popular. Some of the story beats maybe not as much, but Zero is still
What's
top.
the one with the guy's got like kind of really like froey hair like Spike Spiegel? Was it Like a Dragon, I think?
Yeah, Like a Dragon, which is technically Yakuza 7.
Okay.
So that's Ichiban. So that's the new protagonist, the new generation kind of thing.
Okay.
Was that one. And those
watching
games
people play
changed, and
made
that
me wanna
became a
try Yakuza,
turn-based.
so.
Is that a clown?
So that's Onomichi. During the game, you one of the side quests, again, the side quests of these games are always like over the top and goofy. One of the side quests is you have to play a local mascot to like help
Okay,
show
yeah,
off
yeah.
the city and everything. So he'll be running around in this, and like you saw, this local mascot just pulled out a gun and shot some dudes in the street. Like it's always that like over the top like wackiness kind of thing. But yeah, just imagine like he did this for the kids, and then you see the kids can watch him just cram these dudes against the wall and kick their face in.
Fucking rad.
Although-
He fights Nyango Star, and I would explode. I'd be like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's a lot of fun, and that's the reason I love this series. It's always that super melodramatic like crime story offset with like goofy over the top side stories, moments. You can do karaoke, mahjong. My favorite's like the cabaret club kind of thing where you can run a cab club. There's just so much to love about these. They're very unique.
That's awesome.
But I will absolutely admit they're not for everyone. I just love them so much. I have a group of friends I get made fun of because that's the games that I play all the time. Like, oh, another Yakuza game. Nick's going to have to buy it. It's like, yeah, I have to. You should play it.
They're just haters.
Bullying in 2025? You're kidding me.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Dude getting suplexed on some stone stairs though. That ow.
my man just
some
got
of the
like
heat actions. Well, this is the reason that I was lamenting the loss of the brawler system, like seeing this free like fighting kind of thing and go into turn based. So I was kind of against, Like a Dragon when it came out. I didn't think I was gonna like it. It took me a hot minute, and then I ended up loving it by the end of it. But there's still something special about playing this era and these older games, the Yakuza games, especially with like the HD remakes they did with Kiwami and Kiwami 2. And I remember in this one, Andre, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure in this one you also did like the mini car racing, underground racing as well, which is an actual thing that happens. Like you get a bunch of little like performance parts for these little like RC cars, and at one point, if you put too much speed on it, you don't have the right like grip, you don't have the right springs, you'll see that little RC car on this track fly off, and he gives like this super sad face as you like fail out. Like it's so stupid. Yeah, pocket racing. Perfect. Thank you.
I feel like this game was so like the final version of Shenmue. Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I got into it in the first place. It was supposed to be like a similar vibe to it, and it does feel like it. But
Yeah.
it's one of those games that kind of does that virtual tourism, where it feels like you're there. It's so steeped in that kind of like culture and language, and stores. The storefronts are actual places or modeled after actual places in those
Yeah.
in Japan, Dotonbori. Um, Really cool stuff. So there's people that go there all the time and post on like the Yakuza subreddit. They're like, hey, I went to the promised land kind of thing. And you see them take pictures and places from the game kind of thing. It's really cool. But yeah, this is the karaoke you can do. And he gets his little thumbs up at the end of it. So stupid. I love it.
That's amazing.
That's
I'll
great.
be right back, gentlemen.
All right, yeah, sounds good, man. All right. All right, what we got next here? Let's do, well, we probably should wait for him, but we'll keep going. 418 Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo was released in 1994. So, man, I would love to see a Samus helmet, like you said, Ace. I think it's a super cool idea. Will Nintendo do it? I don't
Probably
think
not.
honestly, I don't think Metroid is like one of their like darlings. Like Zelda definitely is one of their darlings, but I feel like Metroid has been like pushed back so much. And like has been kind of set on the back burner. But I love Dread, love Super Metroid, love the one on the Fusion, I think was good too. Of course, everybody loves Prime, that got remade as well. But Super Metroid was the first game I think I've ever played that was, Metroidvania, right? So this was before Symphony of the Night, so I would give, credit to that genre with this. The search action games, what they call it officially. So I think that's super awesome. And I think a lot of other games, like in this genre, the search action genre, would not exist for Metroid in general, because Metroid is the original.
Agreed.
I
mean, I played a lot of Metroid 2 on the on the Game Boy, and
Underrated.
just found myself really just falling in love with exploring the planet, kind of sussing out which areas I couldn't get to right away. And it's like, how come I can't do this? And then I like go a different way, play through a little bit more of the game, pick up certain pieces of equipment and gear, and then they put me back in a familiar area of the map, and I go, wait a minute, what if I try this?
Mm-hmm. Search action, exploring, right? I think before the era of like radars and like quest points where they tell you where to go next, like this is what made this game fun. Being able to just explore, like you saw a box on that map, you're like, I haven't uncovered that box yet. I got to go there and check it out, right? So that was the old school way of like exploration. Now it's like you hit a ping point, you want to clear up the map, right? Like
right, and and even now, like I know it's been years, and of course, Nintendo already hit this project with the MCA previously, but I've still been keeping an eye out for the work that was being done on Project AM2R, or another Metroid 2 remake.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And just
I heard that fan game was excellent.
Oh, it is. It is. Like I still have a copy saved on my computer somewhere. I
recall
occasionally
Nintendo making some sort of plans to actually do that. But who knows?
Well, whatever the case may be with Nintendo, I always go back to AM2R because sitting down and playing Metroid 2, but having like a lot of the tech and techniques and just the visual style of Super Metroid and Fusion and Zero Mission, it is a blast to play, and we have this one right here to thank for it.
Yeah, this is the progenitor. I honestly believe this created a whole new genre of games and indie and game developers that would follow it, like this and Castlevania. Castlevania, of course, is the other popular one, Symphony of the Night. But this was, like I said, this was the genesis, of all. Yeah, and it's kind of like interesting. I feel like that's going to be a really important conversation and topic where Nintendo is just super defensive about their IPs. It's kind of stifling creativity from the fans, right? Even if they acknowledge it as a fan game, but they love protecting their IPs, and it has by good reason, of course. But at the same time, it's like, bro, like calm down with the lawyers, right? They love your IPs. That's why they're doing this. You know?
Exactly.
Labors of love.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's like one guy or like two dudes working
Mhm.
for years.
Yeah. What was that one? The one that was really popular. It was like Pokemon Radium or something, or Uranium.
Yeah.
That was a really popular one. And there was that Zelda 2.5D one that was really cool. The Legend of Zelda 1 kind of like remake of like it's 2.5D, and it looked like it was really cool looking. It was still like pixel art, but it was like 3D ish and a 2.5D plane. So it was pretty sweet. They put the kibosh on that.
Yeah, the Mega Man X community is pretty fervent in fan games and such. It's shocking that Capcom hasn't really stepped in and tried to do it.
Yeah, Capcom's been pretty good. I mean, Max just made a whole freaking mod for Marvel Infinite, and they're loving it, you know, because they got people to play the game again.
Mhm.
So, and I think that's what they should be looking at instead of like, oh, they're copying keys, right? They should just be like reigniting.
Let's hire that guy. Yeah,
you know, the passion for these games. Right?
Mhm.
So, all right, other games that came out that day: Shin Megami Tensei 2 on the Super Nintendo in 1994 in Japan. Metal Slug in the arcade in 1996. You know, they're redefining the Contra genre, I guess. Samurai Showdown Warriors Rage on the PlayStation, which I just found out yesterday that it was a thing back in 2000. Arc the Lad Collection on the PlayStation in 2002. Unreal Championship 2, the Leandre Conflict in Xbox 2005. Portal 2, another game that really like I feel changed the game space on PC and Mac 2011. Marvel's Guardian of the Galaxy, the Telltale series on iOS, Android, PC, PS4, and Xbox One in 2017. Wonder Boy, the Dragon's Trap on the Switch, PS4, Xbox One in 2017. Arguably a remake of the first Wonder Boy game on the Genesis or Master System. Sorry.
underrated.
And Minecraft Legends on the Switch, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X in 2023. So, man, you can really tell which games got a lot of budget and support, huh?
Shit.
By all the platforms that they're on. So, but yeah, I actually played Wonder Boy, and it's super fun. And
Yeah.
what's really cool with it is that you can switch it from retro to modern with like a press of a button. It's super cool.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's super neat. I feel like that was like something that intentional, like they wanted to do that to show you, appreciate you, like the hand-drawn graphics and everything. Also, if you've watched Secret Lair on Amazon, I think the Leandre conflict was the plot to that specific Secret Lair episode. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Secret layer or secret level?
Secret Level. Sorry, Secret Level. I mean, I had Magic on the Gathering in my mind, so I said Secret Lair. But yeah, that was a really cool episode. But I thought that super. But we got Wonder Boy on the screen here. Hand-drawn graphics, guys. Super cool looking. Very responsive controls. Runs really great. It's just old school platforming. It's super fun.
Totally good.
Yeah. And then Piranha Man. And what's really cool with this is like, and I just realized it's not that long ago, is like you're pretty much playing like a Mario 3 game where Mario's wearing different suits. Because in this game, you rescue these creatures and you become them. Right. And then you can start accessing new areas with the new creature.
Like I said, super underrated game. This is
Yeah.
an excellent play.
Yeah, it's super. Look at the animation frames on this guy. Look at him. That's crazy. That's all hand drawn.
This is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. But yeah, underrated game. I think it's not that expensive too. Maybe like $20 digitally. It's you can tell like they love making it. They like it's one of those things where it's a passion project.
Heck yeah.
For sure. All right, let's finish this off on the 19th. Well, specifically, I said on the channel, I will grab the box art of the actual game we're talking about. And since arcade machines don't have box arts, this is the PC version of Dig, which came out in 1982. Yeah, Dig Dug. Not so legendary.
The cabinet art?
There was, but we're trying to go with like a box, official box.
Got it. Okay, my bad.
I also grabbed
You're
the
good.
PC gameplay too.
Yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, this is the original classic in your own home. Now, I was always very concerned when you have an arcade port on PC, because they weren't really that great. On console, they were okay, but on PC, it was like, who made this? Like which garage made this? So, is it up? Let's take a look. All right, there you go. Love the colors. It's exactly what Dig and Dug looks like. They're supposed to be like tomato colored.
I mean,
right?
I've seen worse.
Yeah,
Computers
How
didn't have
hard
that
is it
many
to do
colors in
Dig Dug?
1982, my guy.
Yeah.
4-bit. My man's terrible at Dig Dug. So the other thing I was considering with this game is that like this is kind of an arcade staple. What do you think from you guys' experience playing many video games? How do you think they would modernize this game? I'm not saying how they would like, monetize it and put it on like the mobile or app, because this is definitely a mobile game, right? At the moment, but how would they change the formula of Dig Dug to make it more interesting for modern day gamers?
Well, part of it would definitely be changing up the control scheme, because I mean, touchscreen tech looks like it would be perfect for a game like Dig Dug.
Yeah, makes sense.
First person horror game.
Yes. I was actually going in that direction, Jace.
Yeah.
Oh, so you mean like with Pac-Man and Shadow Labyrinth?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
precisely.
So I was thinking Dig Dug is you're an excavator, right? And you're going underground digging, and then you encounter these monsters, these aliens in the caverns, right? Like that. I'm talking about modernizing it. Right? So it's kind of
so you mean like Dead Space but underground?
Yeah,
No, I was going to
I
say,
was just thinking that.
I was going to say, because you can make it
a special way to like kill them.
On that thought, when all of you started talking about those ideas, the first thing I thought about, make it like Deep Rock Galactic.
Yeah, there you go. And that's a great example, actually.
Mining,
I'm familiar with that.
FPS, faster pace, 1 to 4 co-op kind of thing. You can mine for materials. You have to get back out. You can find bigger and bigger like boss animals or horror things while you're down there kind of thing. But just like the way that Deep Rock kind of took off and like really had that kind of grassroots community behind it, you could do something
was it
like
that
that.
online
just
one where
in.
you're in the spacesuits and you go to the different.
You're like
planets and
dwarves.
such? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's dwarves, and it's procedurally generated caves and
mining.
like endless,
They're miners.
Yeah, mining, endless hordes of like enemies down there kind of thing. So it was always a little different every time you went in, but it was a 1 to 4 co-op kind of thing. So it was very easy to hop in with friends kind of thing, and just kind of mess around.
What game?
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The hypothetical featuring Dig Dug.
I don't know, but like the other thing I wanted to add to like the extra layer, it's kind of funny, there's layers, is that like maybe if there is co-op where all of you guys come in, but like when one of you dies, you become like the imposter, right? Because at every session you have to actually leave the cave too, right? With your treasures.
Do the evolve thing again, where one person plays the big, angry, deep mining fear thing, and you have to hunt down the dwarves to eat them.
Me too. Yeah, I mean it's kind of funny because like Dig Dug has been like kind of lost in time, right? This is the only version of Dig Dug we've seen, at least from I would remember. I'm pretty sure they modernized it with cuter graphics or something. But it's like,
I'd be surprised if there's not a mobile version of this that's updated.
Yeah, like but turning it into like a modern like horror game is actually a great idea
or something.
Yeah, like that balloon, like that red balloon guy. He's going through the dirt. So imagine like hearing that thing crawl through the dirt and not seeing him.
Oh god, that's funny. You said that. I was just thinking that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's making a creepy face. See, yeah. Awesome. Love it. I love
I'll
it.
have trouble sleeping.
I love it. All right. Other games that came out that day on the 19th. XCOM Enforcer on the PC in 2001. Psychonauts on the PC in 2005. Mortal Kombat, the remake in 2011 on the PS3 and 360. SOCOM 4 and U.S. Navy SEALs on the PS3 in 2011. Another game that Sony lost in time. Conduit 2 on the Wii in 2011. Also, Code of Princess on the 3DS in 2012 in Japan, and Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS in 2012 in Japan. Also in 2005, Disney Interactive Studios and Buena Vista Games acquires Avalanche Software. the people that made Hogwarts Legacy, Disney Infinity and Attack games, and sets up Propaganda Games, which is in Vancouver, Canada, who made 2008's Turok Reboot and Tron Evolution. That was a mouthful. Cool. I mean, I think 2005 was when Disney started acquiring game studios, right?
Right. It's
Trying
right
to
around
make
that time.
games.
Yeah, in Buena Vista, I remember being a pretty common name as well back in the day for a lot of those like licensed titles. But it was
Yeah.
just kind of crazy to see that because Avalanche has kind of been there ever since, essentially.
Yeah.
Before they got spun out to different stuff, they were there for quite a while. But it's weird to think because at the time they were making a bunch of random games, and they pumped out the TAC games, and then I completely forgot that they were doing all the Disney Infinity games as well.
Yeah. Scorpion, yes. Dig Dug is using air to kill. So the other thing I was thinking of is that you have an oxygen level when you go down into caves. And so are you going to preserve your oxygen or use it to kill the monsters you're fighting? That'd be a fun.
Damn, that's a good caveat. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's really cool. All right, guys, that is this week in gaming history. Appreciate y'all. All right, you know what's up? We got Nick with the quick bites. If the quick bites would pop up, take her away.
All right, the news this last week, again, getting everyone caught up, so hopefully you can stay abreast of all this stuff. Now, we're going to talk about Marathon tonight for the article because that's kind of on the tip of everyone's mind. But other bits of news for you. Bungie also announced that there will be a full reveal for Destiny 2 The Edge of Fate, which will take place next month on the 6th at 9 a.m. PST. Their social media post also says the team will be announcing their plans for the upcoming year of Destiny as well, so it's not just the new content expansion. This is the expansion that was the codename Apollo we'd heard about before. This does mean, a paid expansion with a load of new content. And Bungie already has a plan for another full expansion, which will be landing in winter 2025. That one called Behemoth currently. So some more content in Destiny on top of the fact that Marathon's being made right now. While we're on the topic of first look, April 19th will be a chance to see the Star Wars Zero Company game. This is the upcoming single-player turn-based tactics games that we kind of talked about a little bit last month during some of the rumor mill stuff. Respawn is producing, and BitReactor is the lead developer. So, James, for you, this could maybe be the place where you get your XCOM itch that everyone's been
all the time,
really hard up for.
All the time.
During a special deep dive live stream today, developer Jagex has revealed that in addition to announcing it, their survival game, RuneScape Dragon Wilds, is available in early access today. So they shadow dropped, launched that. I know that they've been talking about that game coming up, but they just dropped it. It's in early access. It costs $29.99. And while they couldn't commit to a timeline on the full 1.0 release, they did share a roadmap with viewers as well. So if you're kind of staying abreast of the new RuneScape stuff, you can find that information online. Kind of cool. Funcom has announced that their Dune Awakening game is slightly delayed. Whoa.
Yikes.
Is that you, Ace, or is it me? Did I drop the mic? Might have been. All right. Well, Dune Awakening, and now I'm awakening from all that. They're slightly delaying the release. They're moving it to June 10th. It was originally scheduled for May 20th, so just a little bit of a change. There will also still be a 5-day head start release for the people that want that version of it. I don't know about the guys here on the panel, but my wife, I fully got into the Last of Us Season 1. So Last of Us Season 2 has finally released. That first, yep, finally just watched that ourselves. She is kind of excited. She kind of knows what happened. I didn't ruin it completely, but her favorite's Pedro Pascal, and I was like, hey, I don't want to ruin it for you, but don't get too attached to anyone. The usual kind of like warning. Anyway, sorry if I ruined that spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't played the game. The first episode is obviously seeing a bump over the first season. The viewership saw a boost of 10%, with a report detailing that 5.3 million same-day U.S. cross-platform viewers were recorded on this. So expect to be into this for the long haul, because the second game story is already confirmed to take 2 seasons. So we're only going to get half the story in this season. If I remember right, it's only 7 episodes this season as well. So strap in, boys. Netflix, speaking of some more streaming stuff, has officially renewed Devil May Cry's animated adaptation for a second season.
Yes.
So good news for fans of that.
I heard
Shoes, you a
that.
fan of that one?
No, go ahead, Jace.
Oh, I was just saying that's
So I was reading an article at work today and just popped up, and I was like, "Did they play Roland in the show?"
Yeah,
That's a question.
yeah,
They did. Okay, I was like, "Wow." Okay, they put some Limp Bizkit in the anime.
I thought you said Roland, like Roland. I was like,
From like Borderlands. That's what I thought too. I'm like, sure, bud.
No. If I remember correctly, Roland is the theme song. You hear some Rage Against the Machine. You hear some remixed Papa Roach. A bunch of really cool, like early 2000s music in the game. That series was excellent. I don't binge watch shows very often. I fucking sat and watched the whole thing in a day, and it was excellent. I'd watch it again.
I'll have to check it out.
So good. And I hadn't even played the Devil May Cry games until I streamed 5, which was like totally jumping into like the middle of everything. Thank God chat was like, this is what happens. This is why that guy's like that, and yada yada yada. So it was really cool. Like I can't contrast whether the anime was like true to DMC, but I saw a lot of like references and such from other games. Mega Man makes a reference. A lot of Capcom titles and IPs get little Easter eggs in the show, and I thought that was super duper cool. Excellent anime if you haven't seen it already.
All right, yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it.
Sorry, got me a little excited.
No, it's cool. Love it.
Absolutely understandable. I'm glad that you did mention that, because I know that I haven't watched it yet myself. I was super late to getting around to Castlevania. I know a lot of my friends had seen it and were telling me about it. I wasn't a fan of the series back in the day. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. So I added Devil May Cry into like my queue just to kind of like check it out eventually. So very
Have
cool.
You watched Nocturne yet? The next story in the Castlevania series.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called Nocturne.
Yep, Nocturne.
That's the Richter bell now, right?
Excellent. Yes, both were. Anyway,
so we'll see if this. No, don't. That's all. That's what this is all about. Like the quick bites is just a little bit of news, kind of still tossing in about how much fun we have, like the industry as a whole. Fragpunk is back in the news. The developers for Fragpunk have announced that the console versions of their shooter will finally arrive. Those were delayed. Those will arrive on April 29th. There will also be details on cross-platform features, which will be shared ahead of the launch date as well. So we might get some cross-platform stuff soon for that. In case you missed it as well, speaking of vampires and stuff, one of our favorite titles here on the panel, Vampire Survivors, did have a free expansion. Emerald Diorama launched on the 10th. This includes new content. It includes cross-save and the co-op update for it. So if you haven't checked it out, absolutely pick up that game. Can't recommend it enough. And now that it has co-op, even more fun, crazy stuff to go with it, with the new characters and the new weapons as well.
Sweet.
While we don't have exact numbers, AC Shadows has been the best-selling video game in the U.S. for each of its first 3 weeks in the market. We will have to wait until Ubisoft's next earnings call to really get the numbers, but that is really good news for a company that really needed a hit right now. I know that we've been talking about a lot of sales stuff lately, so it seems worth bringing up. Speaking of numbers, according to the 2025 PC and console gaming report from Newzoo, 58% of all PC gaming revenue came from microtransactions in 2024.
God.
That came out to $24.4 billion. Billion with a B, my friends. This kind of showing us that PC gamers have no problem spending some extra cash in their games of choice. So as much as we lament microtransactions and stuff, this is showing companies that there's more than enough money.
Well, here, hold on. I want to stop for a second. But do we have a choice? we don't. You know, like how if I want more of the game I love, we're gonna have to buy it. That's
Mhm.
there's no other option. So
Would
And
you consider that a
microtransactions-
microtransaction then?
what's that?
Oh, are you talking about like a DLC or like a microtransaction?
That's different. So DLCs are separate. There was a lot of
Oh,
games
really?
that if you pull up the report that Newsy did, they do the industry one every year. DLC accounted for a different one. DLC, if I remember right, I don't know the money, valuation at the top of my head, but that still rose about 1% over the previous year. Keep in mind, we had some pretty big DLCs this last year, including Diablo 4 had a couple DLCs in there. Microtransactions are just like the extra stuff, could be cosmetics.
That's what I was.
could be-
Yeah. So
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes
you
sense.
don't
It's
necessarily
Fortnite
need
and
them, then,
Marvel
right?
Rivals.
Right.
Then
So the big ones being Fortnite and Roblox, for example, were being
oh
big
my god,
money drivers.
Roblox.
Right. But that again just tells you how much money is kind of going into that, and the fact that all of the PC revenue, 58% of all of it just came from microtransactions, not from just like the OG games themselves. Just a crazy number I thought was worth kind of talking about, just because
I get
we've
it, though.
lamented microtransactions. We're going to have a story here in the rumor mill a little bit about the notorious original microtransaction. Um, so just as always, we kind of mentioned things a little bit early in the show, and then somehow a little bit down the line, it's like, oh no, we were just talking about how crazy this was. There are some little more pricing news I do want to cover this week, just to kind of keep everyone across from it. While we're on the subject, Sony is increasing the price of the PS5 in Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. They stated this yesterday due to the challenging economic environment. The company is also raising their PS Plus prices in dozens of countries. The goal is aligning it with the US market. This also marks the second increase in less than 2 years for just South America. According to Nikkei Asia, Nintendo Switch 2s from China could face a 145% US tariff. This is partly why the company delayed pre-orders in the US, but those are going to be starting up soon. This this just is just making the console release that much more mired in complexity. I mean, heck, we already know now that Breath of the Wild with its upcoming DLC will cost $90 on the Switch 2. That's been confirmed by the company. So prices go up. Let's talk about some fun stats instead. How about that? Rebellion's Atomfall, which we talked about last week, has had over 2 million total players in their world now. The devs shared some data in their announcement of this super awesome milestone. Really, congrats for the team that are doing that. A couple of the fun little numbers that they dropped: 5.9 million cricket bat kills were completed in the game so far. Over 500K cups of tea have been drank in the game, and over 250K pints of beer have been ordered. This is definitely the biggest success in the team's
That's
history.
great.
So
I love those stats.
congrats.
We need more
Right?
of those stats.
Yeah, there's a couple more, but I thought those were like quintessential, being as it was set in kind of like this post-apocalyptic British setup. So rumor mill time, just a couple quick ones we wanted to talk about before we move on to the article. As always, take these as a huge grain of salt, but this is really for the people that have been paying attention in the last day or so. A couple of these notes have just kind of dropped in the last day, so I added them in. If you were on Reddit earlier today, in fact, you may have seen multiple images uploaded showing off alleged shots of Oblivion Remastered. I know that we've been talking about it for the last like 2 or 3 rumor mills. It's been talked about for at least a year now. I want to say pretty regularly about the game potentially being shadow dropped. Keep in mind, this is not a remake. I'll pull up the images here and show it.
And not just potentially being shadow dropped, but potentially being shadow dropped this month.
Right. So one thing I was going to mention is part of the, grain of salt kind of thing is like there's still some stuff we don't know about it. We still don't know when it's going to happen. It's not confirmed. Jeff Grubb has been kind of keeping a pulse on this for a while and has mentioned that we could be expecting it here next week after the 21st. So these images dropped on Reset Era first, and the leaks are suggesting the game will be released on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, which has only been rumored so far. Also, there will be a deluxe edition, and the deluxe edition will have, you guessed it, the horse armor in it. So we can finally get our deluxe
My
a little
favorite.
extra.
I thought you were going to say helmet for a second.
But it looks pretty
Yes.
good. I know a lot of people have been talking about this. Like I said, the last 24, especially, it's been all over the news today. Looks really good. I know that there was a fan edit where they changed the color palette of this one because they thought it was a little bit too dark. A lot of people lamenting like it didn't have the same like bright high fantasy feel that they wanted from Oblivion. But that aside, it still looks great. Like I said, we've talked about the shadow drop for a little bit. Sounds like it's back on the menu, boys. Like I mentioned, Jeff Grubb back to a lot of statements on this and expect it in the next week. So we'll see if that happens.
Do you know if it's a 1-to-1 remaster, or are they actually changing like some quality of life stuff too?
There's some quality life stuff from what I remember. A lot of
Yes.
it is still rumors, though. So again, take that as a grain of salt. But from what it sounds like, it is a remaster with some updates and tweaks to it.
Love it.
But it looks great, and you can dive back into the world. Mafia: The Old Country has also seemingly had its release date leaked today. This in a Steam blog post. This happened probably about a few days ago, but now it's kind of gaining traction. It looks like August 8th, 2025 is when players will get their hands on the game. The reason this is noteworthy and why we're kind of going rumor mill with this is because now we can kind of see that the whole GTA 6 subreddit is going full conspiracy theory, like Charlie Day on the conspiracy board right now, trying to figure out the release date for GTA 6 because this is a Take-Two owned joint, right? So we know that The Old Country has a release date, and we also know that Take-Two has Borderlands 6 coming out, or Borderlands 4 coming out September 24th. So that kind of shows us we have this kind of narrowed window where people are going like, okay, so we can expect GTA 6 in this window, assuming Take-Two doesn't want to like cannibalize their overall publishing portfolio when it launches. But right now, like I said, full conspiracy mode, maybe October, maybe November. What do you guys think?
Nick, there's no Pepe Salvio. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I don't know why, but I keep thinking that GTA 6 is definitely going to be, I want to say mid-November, right around when the Christmas shopping season starts.
I
I'd
think
say probably early November, to be honest. I think in the past they've done like an early November release. And it was,
well, let's look. When did GTA 5
was
came out?
released in early November?
GTA 5 came out
I don't
in
know.
March.
I mean, I'll be quite frank with you. I don't think like as badly as we want to see like another trailer or some sort of like comprehensive news on like GTA 6. Rockstar doesn't need to do a goddamn thing to sell games. Not a thing.
No,
They
it sells
just
itself.
yeah, precisely. And they literally have people just picking at like bits of bird shit on the sidewalk to try and like put together some sort of Picasso. And it's just there's no advertising needed. There's no trailer needs to drop. People are gonna buy this game, but give us something.
I think trailers aren't necessarily for us anymore. They're for investors. That like because they cater to investors, right? And what they do is usually like, what are you guys doing to show that this game is ready, or are people excited for it? And so they just make a trailer to appease them, and then that just we fall in line with that because like it's us, right? But in reality,
let's just hope it's not woke. Yeah.
But yeah, historically it says here September 2013 for the PS3 version and 360, November 2014 for the PS4 and Xbox One. I remember working that with Nick. And then also April 2015 for Windows and March in 2022. So one of them was for Q4.
And the thing is that we obviously you can't infer because it's going to change every year, especially with other stuff in the market. But if you look at the main series of GTA, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the GTA games were released in October. 2, 3, Vice City and San Andreas were all released in October over the years. The other one being GTA 1 dropped in November, right? So we can't say that that's going to confirm it, but if we think like if we're Take-Two, we wouldn't want to cannibalize our other ones. Borderlands kind of needs a win as well with how much money they kind of tossed into that. I would imagine it's going to be 6 afterwards. It still says fall 2025, so we'll see. But like I said, with The Old Country getting its release as well, and that needing to do pretty well, and hopefully not have a lot of things like going up against it, so it does sell. Not to
A
say
lot of
it doesn't have
devs
its
are
fans.
scared to release anything this year.
Oh yeah, they're
Right.
literally
Yeah,
adjusting the
quarter.
release window because of GTA 6.
Yeah, and there's so many things in limbo right now. Like, fucking, dude, should we do it?
And also,
now?
we can say, the only thing we can say rather is that 2026 delay for it is not off the menu, right? They could easily do that still, being as there's been radio silence. They can still manage those expectations. So it's not like the end of the road here yet, but it's still a way to kind of infer. If you look at this, if you're Take-Two and you've got all these titles and you want to kind of like space them out, you could infer this as well. So, like I said, rumor mill, grain of salt, just something to kind of fun kind of thing to talk about. All right, James, if you don't mind sharing, I got that screen right in the back for our article. Just a quick little discussion with the team as we were talking about before this all kicked off with Quick Bites. We're going to talk a little bit about Marathon. This has been the thing that has been, oh man, talked about ad nauseum the last few days. A lot of content creators. The reason is Bungie has shown off Marathon. Not only do we have the announcement trailer, but a behind closed doors alpha play test was held. So a fair amount of content creators, as I mentioned, have been discussing it on social media. So I wanted to bring this to the panel, see what people want to say about it. Just some quick little facts about this. We know now it is releasing September 23rd, 2025. It is a team-based extraction sci-fi FPS. Land in the map, get your loot, get out before you lose what you have. Teams of 3. Players will have 6 heroes to choose from who will have their own play styles. Then they'll build their loadouts, guns, packs that will determine how many credits or your power before you drop in the map. 18 players on each of the maps at a time. Right now, it is confirmed there's 3 maps. There will be a 4th one that drops at launch called Marathon. One thing I do want to say, just to preface it, because a lot of people did bring this up and it's worth mentioning, this is still a work in progress. This is alpha, and a lot of these early impressions are for these alpha builds. So while we're able to see this stuff and we can kind of get a vibe from it, it's very much like UI, menus, weapon, environment details. All these can look different by the time it launches. A lot of feedback on it was, movement and gunplay was kind of likened to Apex. A Marathon will have to face off against Tarkov's stranglehold on the market. And really, more than anything, what I wanted to bring up was, tell me if you've heard this before. It's kind of like how a lot of people are feeling about this title right now. Bungie is calling this, or what they want this to be, is a social extraction experience. So, seamless, team driven, something fun to play. They're looking to break into this extraction shooter space, which is pretty unforgiving. They want to do that by introducing unique social mechanics. This is not free to play, and that's something I do want to call out. They specifically said that it is not free to play, and they're saying that it will not be full price, but it will be quote unquote a premium title. Whatever that means. The company certainly has a better track record and are known for their quality compared to something like Concord, which is just kind of being likened to with the way it's being released. Not to mention the art direction for this obviously looks really cool compared to what we saw with Concord when it came out. It's still kind of facing a launch that feels like what Concord did. It's kind of a saturated market. It's not free to play. You have to pay for it. And this game has been in development for years. There are questions as to who this game is for. Is it going to be too arcadey for hardcore extraction fans or too punishing for casual fans? So just open it up to the floor. Those were the quick facts of a bunch of information that dropped. I just want to know, what the panel thinks. Get your vibe on it. What do you think Marathon is going to be, and who do you think it's for?
Jace, tell me.
Well,
who's it for?
first thing, I'm watching this gameplay. I really like how vibrant it looks, and I like the solid colors. It's almost like a cell shading, I guess you'd call it. I like how it looks, so I'd be fine with it. Releasing like this. I would play something like this, but man, I try not to play online shooters because I'm just terrible at shooters. Period. Always have been. I love campaign shooters like Far Cry. Those games are great. I'm not very good at them, but I can limp through and all that. But that being said, this might be something I actually try, and I think that free to play oftentimes will push people away from playing it. So if it's being sold at like a premium, like you said, we don't know what that specifically means. It could be like a $55 game as opposed to a $70 game or whatever. But I think that if people are needing to purchase to play, I think it may have a better chance of actually, kind of doing well. So I check it out. I play it.
Ace?
Yeah, I can't really say much because this isn't necessarily my wheelhouse. I mean, again, I do really appreciate and I enjoy the overall visual design behind Marathon. I mean, I've been seeing some discussion about it, about how number one, it's not going to be free to play, but also I think I remember seeing somewhere that there won't actually be like a separate campaign.
There won't be. It is an extraction shooter online only. This is not going to have a campaign. So that's one thing that's kind of been talked about recently, is one of the things that Bungie really want to focus on is bringing some of their storytelling to it. And for me in particular, this is just my own opinion. It's not going to be representative of what other people are saying, content creators around it, or what Bungie's saying. It reminds me a lot of Concord in the sense that Concord was trying to release those like monthly or weekly like story trailer kind of things, like force a story on something that's multiplayer kind of thing, pull you into the world. Bungie does have a much better track record for that, but it seems like that's what they want to do. They mentioned bringing story into this online extraction shooter. So it is just an extraction shooter, no campaign, online, 3 people, like just that kind of arena kind of feel. So whether or not the story can translate to that and be in a better way, like obviously same as Shoes was calling out, like I love the art style for this. I really love that kind of like almost like minimalistic digital neo sci-fi kind of like vibe that it has going on. So I like
Bright
the world
colors,
design.
solid colors. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, high contrast kind of stuff. Like I do dig it. I do dig the art style. For me in particular, like extraction shooters, they're just not my game. You're just doing, it's high risk, high reward. Nothing against that. It literally says at the end of the trailer, like calls out gambling. Like you are gambling when you play this game. You can do a super awesome loadout that'll give you a much better chance of surviving. But if someone comes along who's better, you can lose all of it and you're back to square one. So I can understand like why some people like that. It is exciting, but it's not something for me. Teams of 3 again. I played plenty of Destiny, nothing against that. Any of my friends who I played Destiny with knows I get a little too competitive and really hate playing Crucible. So this game is just not for me. And I know that already, but I do dig the style, especially as James called out earlier, like my profile on Discord is Night City. I love cyberpunk. So this kind of vibes with the stuff that I'm into. James, what are you thinking?
Well, let me think about this in a more economical point of view, right? What's the suggested MSRP on this right now?
No idea. It hasn't been discussed. That being said, there's been some stuff thrown around like 30 to 40, most likely. Okay. And keep in mind that's going to be a one-time fee. And then there'll be microtransactions on the back of that to support the game over the long term with different kind of content, skins, and all that kind of stuff. That's been confirmed.
So the first part I'm thinking about is the $30, $40. Right? So why would I play this over Hunt Showdown, Tarkov? What else? Other extraction shooters are out there in the market, right? So that's the first thing I think about when I think of this is like, how can I pay for? Do I have to pay for those? Like, how much is Tarkov? Is that? Does anybody know? I know I played Hunt Showdown. I paid $40 for that game, right? And it's the same concept. You come in, you pick a character, it has a loadout. Then if you can go in there and extract, kill the mission, kill the monster, get the gear, get better gear. If you die, you lose everything. You start over again. Right? That's part of the appeal of the extraction shooter, right? But the aesthetic of the game was like old Western horror. How many of those are in the market? Not a lot, right? So that's what really drove me to play that game. Is like I don't know too many horror Western games out there, regardless if it was an extraction shooter or not. So that's what drew me to that, and I was willing to pay $40 to play that with strangers online. I think eventually one of my friends joined in. So that's the first thing I think about. why would I choose this over that, right? So if you guys like the aesthetic, that's probably the reason why a lot of people will play this retro futuristic look of the game. Unfortunately, the first thing I can think about is that when I see this could have been a Destiny mod, right? I mean, I'm seeing the skeleton of Destiny, 100%. Fire team of 3, even the gunplay. And don't get me wrong, gunplay for Destiny is like top notch, right? It could have been a mod, is what I'm saying. So I'm trying to validate why would people play this game over, because we only have so much time to play games, right? So they're gonna have to pick. You're right. It's competitive. I think they would have more power to compete if it was free, and then there is some reason for them to like add their personality to the game, and that's why microtransactions are super viable. It's your expression how you want to play the game as far as your look and your appeal.
Mm-hmm.
So the issue, the first roadblock, barrier of entry, cost. Second roadblock, do I like the look of the game? I guarantee if they like Destiny, they'll like the feel of this game, right? But if they hate Destiny, will they give it a chance? I don't know. There's so many like layers of this. But as far as Concord 2, I think it's different. Because Concord, I feel like they just threw so much money at it. But this one, I feel like the Bungie is a little bit more frugal with their money from my perspective, and they're really good at what they do with so little what they do, because they technically built Destiny 2 up from the ground, and it died, then it came back to life, and they like re-envisioned it, because as a Destiny 1 player transitioning to 2, 2 got like was like cut off for a while, and then they revamped the whole thing with weekly updates and stuff like that, instead of like a full expansion. You know, so I feel like they know what they're doing with this, and they have a plan. I'm going to suggest that they have a plan, but the look of it, I think, is gonna be very like particular for certain people until they play it. So that's what I mean. I think at first they're gonna be like, "Oh, this is kind of weird," but when they play, like, it actually feels good to play, and I think that's what's more important.
Wild.
Yeah. The hard part about that is they're gonna have to pay X dollars to try that.
Right.
That's the hard part about it.
So just a couple things to clarify. The Concord thing was just my take. Like I can't say that everyone is going to do that. Blue Rightbot in chat was talking about the marathon story. Yeah, Bungie hasn't confirmed or written out much of the story, but this is the trailer that we have playing right now that they showed the alpha test after they played the game. So as opposed to Concord, where all we got was that cinematic trailer with, Boney McBoneface and Robot Trash Can, like they put this at the end, so not to like confuse with that. But they have said they do want to have like a lot of story-driven elements that are very similar to it. And one other thing to mention, this game has been in development for 4 years. It's gone and redone multiple iterations by this point. It's been confirmed. So there's been a fair amount of time, effort, and money put in on this as well to get its current iteration. And I think a lot of people are kind of pushing back because they see that timeline, and you're getting 3 maps and that's it. You'll get a 4th one at launch, and that's all you're going to have. And it's the thing about extraction shooters are, although they haven't said anything about procedural generation, it's going to be those same maps ad nauseum for 150 hours. Like, is that going to be sustainable long-term right at launch? Will there be enough content? Because content is king on something like this with an online platform, especially when you don't have a single player or a death match or anything like this. It is just extraction.
Right. And Hunt Showdown is that exactly. And I played it during COVID, right? And I understand extraction shooters. And the thing with that, the only other thing that they change is the location of your objective. Right? That changes up strategies and stuff like that. What I'm saying is like the barrier of entry of this game, because like I said, if I'm currently playing Hunt Showdown and I love extraction shooters, I'm probably playing Tarkov right now, right? So I'm a Hunt Showdown player, I'm a Tarkov player. Now I'm gonna add Marathon to that. Well, if I'm already invested, because those have microtransactions too, right? This game is fighting for my attention, right? So if they play Destiny, I almost guarantee it they're going to give this game a shot. So hopefully there's at least a free to play time where people can test it out, right? And committing to that $30-$40 is a big step for a game like this, because there is no story, right? And I feel like Marvel Rivals, everybody plays Marvel Rivals because it's free, right? But the experience is like there's so much people playing it that the experience is so big that I can get a sweaty team or a super casual team and bombard them, right? So the people that will be playing this are either gonna test it out and try it, or the ones that are like, hey, I've been waiting for this. I'm a Bungie fan. I love Marathon, the idea of Marathon, right? Or people that are like, I love extraction shooters, like, and I'm a Destiny fan as well. So it's hard to tell right now, but I have a feeling that the only obstacle that I think it's going to come across with is right now, since the market is so filled with other competitive games like this, that their barrier of entry may be a second thinking, maybe a kind of like a second a hesitation for people to jump in right away. That's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I would
good point.
imagine they don't do a free to play weekend. You can sign up for the alphas right now, and there'll
Yeah.
be betas. So there'll be plenty of like people talking about this game leading up to it, and they've already leaned into that heavily. The stuff that the content creators have been able to talk about were that there were multiple people there who were Apex Legends and Tarkov pros, like
Yep.
they're playing the game. So Bungie's definitely trying to jump in the market. We're just waiting to see like what makes this different, and still too early to see with that. So
It is very early. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring this up because X Defiant was supposed to kill Call of Duty. Right. It was free to play. It was like the feel of Modern Warfare 2. Like they were catering to that old school Call of Duty player, right? And then they died. Like they couldn't compete. So why is that? So there's some reason why Warzone was being chosen over X Defiant, even though it was free. So that's kind of like that's the perspective I'm coming from. So that's like I'm super curious I'm interested how players are gonna like want to fight for this game because like I want to know where they're coming from on their end.
Right. It reminds me when, not 1-to-1, but I remember when Overwatch first came out and the fact that you had to pay on console for that release,
Mhm.
right? Like I was super interested in Overwatch when I saw it, but then there was that price on it. I waited before it went on sale before I picked it up. Something like this is like Shu and I were talking about, like we were talking about like the aesthetically, like this is right up my alley. I can't wait to see. But if they're dropping another price tag on that of like 40, 50, then I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to spend money on something where I know it's not my gameplay loop as much as I love it. So, like you said, who knows what it's going to speak to? I just kind of want to get everyone's vibe on that since this was the topic of the trades lately. But I appreciate everyone's input. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about it more as time goes on. But that's what I have for news for the week.
Super cool, man. I love it. I rev it. I forgot that guy's name in Super Smash TV, the first boss. Do you guys recall what the name of the
Tank
boss
dude?
was? It's like Muscle Man or something. But yeah, it was a tank.
Mutoid Man.
Mutoid Man. I think that's what it was.
That
Mutoid
sounds
Man.
right. That sounds right to me.
But
him?
yeah, it's I think it was Mutoid Man. All right, guys, we're leading to the end of the stream here. We're of course always going over, so we're gonna have to take a rain check on the tech as always. But don't worry, Ace, we'll get to you. We'll get your marathon. Maybe you do 2 weapons next time. But yeah, I'd like to know what's everybody playing right now because I always feel like people should share what they're playing, whether you suggest it to the chat or anybody else out there that maybe has never heard of a game like Red Card 2003.
I'm not playing that right now, though.
Might have to change that.
Yeah. I mean, let's start from the top. What you got, Jace?
Okay, well, currently, Visions of Mana, playing Visions of Mana. Was a big Secret of Mana fan. I didn't really play any Mana games up until the remake of Secret of Mana. So,
Okay.
I thought I'd give Visions of Mana a shot. It looks pretty good. Actually, I'm streaming it on the NoShoes Plays YouTube channel. So if you want to come join me 6 to 8 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'll be playing that for a little bit. Playing Bully for the first time for the PS2, streaming that one as well.
That's another
Thursday,
remake
6
that needs to happen.
p.m. Just playing the base PS2 version, so it's clunky and it's still a lot of fun though. So it really reminds me of kind of the physics of GTA 3 on the PS2. So, but it's been
That's funny
as well. Red Dead 2 again, because I actually have a PC that can play video games now, and I've got an ultra wide screen. So I've been playing Red Dead 2 on the ultra wide, and I can't even. It's just amazing. It's amazing. So play Red Dead 2 again. And then Echoes of Wisdom, we're playing that on the Best Losers, which is also on the No Shoes Plays channel. And that premieres like 3 p.m. Sunday and Monday with me and my brother Jim Squints. It's a Let's Play, and we're playing through Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And man, that game, it's all right, but it's not all right at the same time. There's a lot of dialogue, and I just want to be. I want to play the Zelda game. I don't want to talk to people, and the side questing is really cool. And if you liked Link's Awakening, the mechanics are familiar, but you basically learn the ability to copy items, and you can use those as weapons, and you can use those as like getting around the map, and you can use it in dungeons to get to like figure out certain puzzles. So Echoes of Wisdom, yeah.
Okay, so Zelda game, 2 Rockstar games, and Visions of Mana. And you are a wide scope gamer. Seems like.
Oh, totally. I'll play a little bit of everything. So
Love it. That's me. I'm a variety gamer.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at all of our lists tonight that we're discussing, we cover a fair amount of the industry.
Yeah, which is good. Ace, what are you playing from aside from Warriors Abyss?
Well, yeah, I get in my occasional runs on Warriors Abyss because Muso roguelike. What's not to like? But that I've been kind of dialing it back a little bit on Monster Hunter Wilds as well because of the other 2 games on my list that I have been playing this week, especially Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory, which is the one of the free games on PlayStation Plus this month. But also thanks to Warriors Abyss and one of their recent additions, I decided to pick up Atelier Yumiya.
Oh, nice.
If there was ever a game that was the definition of comfy, this is it. Like, I don't know what it is about this game or about this series that just has such a comfy sort of rainy day vibe. But Yumiya definitely has it. But the gameplay for this one in particular, especially like the combat gameplay, is so smooth. Like, I immediately get the vibe that something like Xenogears could work with this because of how skills are mapped to the face buttons, and you can like actively dip between close range and long range and switch from like your character's main melee weapons to offensive spell tools that you can use. It's like when you start fighting stuff, it's a wild time. But when you're on the overworld map, even just going from place to place or even going back to the atelier, the little mansion, the little base of operations that your alchemist character has set up, when you're just running around, just gathering items, literally just picking up random stuff off the field, it is a whole vibe. You kind of want to just sit back with like, a warm mug of herbal tea or something and just sip it as you're running across the field.
So is it a turn-based RPG? What is it?
It's more action-based, like the Tales games.
Yeah,
okay, it's like a Tales
game.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. All right.
Okay, with like Stardew Valley attached to it, right?
Tales, yeah, plus a little bit of Stardew Valley.
That's quite a combo for sure.
Ace, did you pick up the physical version of that?
No, I got it digital.
Okay.
Boo this man.
I don't know why, but when I actually went to Reset and to Cosmic over the last couple of weeks, I was trying to look for it physical and could not find it.
Okay.
That's
well,
funny.
If you ever get a free copy, let me know. I really wanted to try it after we were talking about it. I remember you were kind of onboarding us with this like last year, I want to say towards the end of the year, before we took our break before the holidays. We were talking about this title, and because you'd played a fair amount of the Atelier games, and this one sounded like a good entry point for me because I was really into the Tales games but never made the jump over.
Mhm.
And I remember playing a couple of the more recent like Tales of Arise and enjoying it. So I really wanted to check this out because I liked the cover art for it and I liked the like art style. So, I have to hear what you think, and if I get a chance to get it on sale or something, because I'm poor. The games that I'm playing right now, when we get to me, will say as much. So this is one I want to try out, but it's nothing I'm going to spring for.
Have you tried the demo yet?
No, I've been too busy.
Fair enough.
But I'll play the demo now that I know that there's a demo for it.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a demo either until like recently. But yeah, Gus does a good job of making RPGs. Their Atelier games have been pretty unique and on point to like they're different enough for you to like check them out versus just like, oh, it's just another one of those games.
What is it? Where's the demo? Is it multi-plat for the demo or?
Yes, it's on PS5, I think, right? I know it's on PS5. I've seen it on PS5. I don't know if it's PC as well. So
yeah, actually, it was Blue or Red over here on YouTube. He was the one that played the series originally.
oh yeah, he was the one that like recommended to us during the one of the showcases.
Yep,
it's pretty cool.
Oh,
and this is why we do this, because we find out games that we've never played and other people have played it.
Yeah, Chad, always appreciate you chiming in. Please continue to do so. We added new stuff to the show just because of some of the cool comments we got. So keep it up.
Yeah. I'm usually I was always playing Marvel Rivals, and I have taken back Monster Hunter Wilds. Like I've been putting that on a pause because I don't want to get burned out. Like there's lack of content for it right now. So I mean they did just update it, but like after you kill the 2 monsters and collect the gear, that's what else is there to do, right? So it is a really slim on the content at the moment. Marvel Rivals just released a season 2 update, and that's changed a little bit. So that's kind of like refreshed my my love for the game as well. And so that's kind of like what I've been playing as far as downtime and stuff. Now, Tekken 8 Season 2 was just released, and man, do people hate it, including me. I hate the new title, the new season update, and I'll tell you why. It's because the community said this game is aggressive as intended, and then the community said maybe we need a little bit more defensive options for the game in general, and to tone down the offense, because I feel like I'm in block strings like the whole game, right? Mm-hmm. And what did they do? They doubled down on the offensive stuff. They gave more heat moves to more characters and just more aggressive like stun locks. And dude, it is literally I die in 2 combos in that game. And I'm a seasoned vet from the first season, and I am not having a good time.
So
it
went from sweaty to sweltering.
Bro, it's a sauna in there. It's crazy.
I was going to say they literally took the literal saying the best defense is a good offense and just kept going with that. Oh, you want defense?
They did.
More offense.
100%. Unfortunately, I play a very defensive character, and they nerfed him because he was so good in season 1. And what happened is, let's buff everybody, but then let's take away his good stuff because he was so good in the first one. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't understand the philosophy behind it, but that's a whole different topic. Right. But I can guarantee you right now, if you go to YouTube, 80% of videos are like season 2 sucks.
I can see Andre in the chat blowing up as well. I remember one random time I hopped on while you were streaming Tekken 8 and you were teaching Andre, so I know that he's big into Tekken 8 as well.
It's crazy. Like I was actually playing on somebody else's stream. Her name is Kate. And I was playing Tekken with her in the lobby, and we were talking about it. And I said to the chat room, whatever you learn in season 1, you store it away. Pretend it's a new game. Because that's the only positive way you'll like this season. Because you'll just hate it because of what you thought of the first one. But if you come into it fresh, you're like, oh, this is actually pretty fun, right? And I think that's what they did. They like focused on casuals, and like because casuals love pressing buttons, right? And boy, it is rough out there.
Hey man, I remember growing up on Whidbey Island, went to one of the pizza stores out there, and they had a Tekken 3 cab. I'd love going in there just pressing buttons. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, and like I said, I think the community, they've heard the expression from the community, and they're like, okay, we'll fix that. And they have released like an outline of what they're going to be changing. But I don't think it's going to help. I think they're screwed.
I feel like it might be too little too late, but also just looking at some of the...
It's me right here.
looking at some of the patch notes itself, maybe
When
it's
this thing
just,
loads,
I'm sitting on the outside looking in, but it's just so vague.
that's me playing Tekken season 2.
Yeah, that's
And I'm not Daigo. Yeah. Exact same face and everything. That's me on my controller. Yeah, it's I don't know, guys. Honestly, like I feel like I don't want to go too negative on it because I do like the game. But it's definitely like I'm not having a good time. And that's a problem, right? For somebody that loves a game and they're not having a good time.
Having a good time.
Straight up not having a
I'll
good
put
time.
it to
You
you this
never hear
way.
me say that. That's the crazy part. You never hear me say that.
I'll put it to you this way. I was I was actually thinking about, what's the next fighting game that I want to pick up? I mean, even with, City of the Wolves coming next week. But what would be the next fighting game I wanted to pick up after that? And taking a look at what's out there, I was actually considering seeing if I could find a copy of Mortal Kombat 1.
Right now, the fan base, the player base for Tekken 8 are going on Street Fighter 6. Just because 6 is more stable. Like if you know what you're getting when you play 6, right? Because there hasn't been a really big update on 6.
If they're still worried about them 50-50s, though.
Yeah, but they're saying, but they know that's there, right? Right now with Tekken 8 season 2, they're like, what the hell is this? Like their people's jaws are just dropping, right? And they're going, I don't understand why they did this. Anyway, moving on. The other game that taking note that I've been playing for my A to Z gaming challenge. And if you don't know, chat, I'm playing a game from A to Z this whole year, and I think I'm on game 7, which is letter K for King Arthur: A Knight's Tale. It is a turn-based strategy game based on the Arthurian world of King Arthur, but with a gothic twist. So the plot here, I'll give you the plot. Camelot falls, and Mordred and Arthur have their fight. They kill each other, just like in the book. And then the Lady of the Lake awakens Mordred and says, "You have to kill King Arthur. He's become corrupted." And so the whole story, you're trying to find all the Knights of the Round Table, build Camelot back again, and to kill King Arthur. And you don't know what happened to him, but like apparently he's been like turned evil. So. And there's all these cues of like, the world's pretty dark. Like one of the choices I had to make was like, what this one knight was like, "Hey, help me! These zombies are coming up." But it turns I find out that he's the one that raised the zombies from the corpses of the people he sacrificed. And this is a knight, so that's kind of interesting. Right? Wow. So there's a morality system. You can choose to whether to be like more knightly, more tyrannical, stuff like that. Super cool. If you like Baldur's Gate, XCOM, Arthur, King Arthur stuff, all the knights are there. Lady Guinevere's there. I'm having a blast with it. It is it is a budget title for I think $16.99 that I bought it for, but the original price is $49.99.
If you're looking for something Arthurian, but don't want to wait for Tides of Annihilation, check this out.
Yeah, that or Knights of the Round. Hopefully there's another Knights of the Round game coming around the corner there. So yeah, other than that, I've actually been hoping to pick up the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle on the PS4 because I have it on the PS3 and I wanted to play all the beat 'em up games again. So eventually I'll jump on that for fun. Mm-hmm. All right, Nikolai, what you got, bruh?
So I am diving back into Worlds a little bit. I'm still playing 2 Point Museum, still trying to climb my way to the top. Finally got my first few 5-star museums, so I'm finally getting through the content. Much slower than the other content. I'm a big fan of the 2 Point crew. Some of the original guys from the or on that team are from the original Bullfrog team. They made like Theme Hospital back in the day, which I loved as a kid. So when they finally broke off and did 2 Point, I got really into these games. So Museum is the latest one. I've been enjoying that. I just restarted my play of Metaphor Refantasio, so I'm back in there. And we talked about this one earlier, but I'm playing Vampire Survivors again.
Nice.
Which has been fun to go back to. Need someone to play co-op with, so hit me up. And they just released the new update for Baldur's Gate 3, the last one.
I saw that.
And I'm back playing it because of that, because of all the new classes and skills. And another way to play the game. So I'm going to replay Act 1 for the 100th time. So,
Yeah.
you know,
And this is why transactions extend are $10 billion in microtransactions.
yeah. So I'm back there. Yeah, I'm games that have new life that I've just owned. So that's great for me because I'm not making as much money as I used to since I lost my job. So it's kind of really refreshing to be able to go back to these worlds and re-experience them with some new content. So that's what I'm doing right now, man. Just trying to blow off some steam because in 2 months I'm expecting a child. So that's when I'll have really the time to dive into metaphor because I can pause it and then go back to it. So,
Watching the baby and just jumping on the RPGs. That sounds like
yeah. So that's why I was asking about Taylor Yumiya, because I'm hoping to have that when I need some to burn some time while I'm on the night shift.
Yeah, Taylor Yumiya is pretty good. I think the one that was on, what was the one made by Square? There was one just like a Taylor Yumiya, but it was made by Square Enix. Can't believe I don't remember this. This is like my jam.
Harvestella?
Harvestella. Their chat. There you go. Harvestella. Yeah, that was kind of the same thing. You play as an RPG, have like a farm you take care of. But then like you cast like magic spells to like make it rain and stuff. It's super cool.
Okay.
So pretty neat. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much this episode of the show. Once again, lots of stuff here. We didn't get to the text. Sorry about that, Ace. And I have another rhetorical that I want to share with you guys, but not tonight. We've kind of gone over already. So Jason, what do you think about our show, man?
Oh, this was great. I had a good time, and hope to remember to tune in next time when you guys finish what we could finish tonight.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to come back, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just let me know whenever you want to come on, or we need to sub. I need to tag you in if these guys don't show up for work.
Love to.
Awesome, I love that. And yeah, and also I was like, and you also extended an invite to me to come up on your show, so I'm excited about that.
We'd love to get you on Best Losers or possibly on a stream or something like that. We'll do like a co-op stream, something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, I'll be lots of collab in the future, so that's awesome. Right, chat, you guys are awesome. Everyone here is awesome. The only thing I think I would like to add for tonight before we call it a night, what are some of your takeaways from tonight's show? Like one or two things that you picked up, something you learned that was new, and looking forward to. Let's go clockwise. Ace, what you got?
Me first? Ace first.
Yeah, let's go NoShoes.
Okay. I really like this restream program. It's really cool. The amalgamation of the chat, that's pretty tight. I like that a lot. I like the flow and everything you guys got going here. Are we talking about specific subjects?
Whatever you take away. So usually, I like to advertise as educational show. So any takeaways that you learned something new in a new experience.
I mean, I learned that a lot of fucking games came out on the 18th of April. That was really crazy. I also realized that Mortal Kombat likes to be released on 4/19 for some reason. Is there some sort
is it Mortal Monday?
Significance? That might be it. Well, Mortal Kombat for PS3 came out, Xbox 360 in 2011, and then Mortal Kombat came out PS3. Oh, that's the same year. Never mind. I'm dumb. I read that wrong. But I really like the games that came out today segment. That was a lot of fun. So
right on, man. Awesome. What about you, Nick?
I learned a lot about Jace, the games that he likes to play, which was awesome. I also learned that there is way more games in this day in gaming history than we think when we first set out to make those. So it's always really fun to see like the broad games that come out, and sometimes when you get random stuff that just happens to be like, I want to say a couple months ago when we had like every single day it felt like was another of the same game in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just like, another God of War or another this game. It's just like every single day that week.
I know y'all were getting tired of me during that whole week of Dynasty Warriors.
Jace, be happy you weren't here for that one.
In November, it was all Call of Duty.
Yeah,
right.
Oh man.
Like 4/17, 4/19. It was like Call of Duty this. It was like the era of Call of Duty. So That's wild.
Beyond that, the only thing I really learned was something that popped up on my phone because I get messages from friends and stuff watching.
Yeah.
The GameStop just dropped new trade-in prices for consoles,
Yeah.
and they are actually decent for your like PlayStation 5 and your Xbox Series X.
Oh,
Like
I
think the
saw
Series
that.
X, they were offering like 420 for it, and it wasn't a joke.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So
What?
yeah,
Yeah, they were only like $50 off from the new price. It was pretty
Yeah.
good.
it was
Thanks,
it was pretty
Obama.
crazy, and I have no doubt it's to get people in for the Switch too. But yeah, no, it was kind of crazy to think as James, I used to work for GameStop, and there's always like, that giant stack, and I'll give you tree fitty. But now it's like, well, okay, now like
That's a joke.
I've got this console I'm trading in, and I'm getting pretty much what I paid for it, which is pretty crazy. Anyway, not to take away from the show. Go on.
All good. All good. I learned that they played Limp Bizkit on Devil May Cry, and I have to watch it now. So
Go
that's
watch it.
definitely
I used to
new.
Keep on
that
rolling,
song.
baby.
I used to hate that song. Now I like it. It gets stuck in my
Yeah.
head when I'm at work.
How appropriate,
I'll sing it
right?
to my coworkers today.
Put your hands up.
Yeah. It came out. The game came out during that time, so
Shit right here.
it's expected. Was it?
LIMP DMC right here.
Oh,
I think they use the air raid version of Roland, right? And funny enough, Dante's form when he's flying shoots lightning is called air raid. So just
interesting.
Oh,
letting you guys know that.
I just learned something new, and I wish I didn't.
Method Man
Yeah.
and DMX is in it. That's all fire.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Pretty sick. Also, the other thing is like, man, there's just my mind is blown about like there's no slowing down in the gaming world. It's looking for the next best thing. It's looking for either riding the wave of like what's hot right now or innovating the wave that's coming up next. Like it just reminds me of the time where PUBG was like the hotness, right? And freaking Fortnite stole that light from them like almost immediately by copying them and changing one thing, right? So in this case, if Tarkov is the extraction shooter that everybody loves, what will Marathon do to kind of like steal that spotlight from them, right? So they have to do something that's innovative. So I've said this before on the channel, competition breeds innovation, and that's how it should be. It keeps our games fresh and coming. So that's my takeaway for the next. What about you, Ace?
Yeah. Well, aside from getting introduced to another killer local streamer, my my big takeaway from the show, at least from this week, is again, it's just like you said, the train just keeps on rolling. I mean, you're either riding the wave of what's the new trend or the current trend that's taking the gaming space by storm. Or in some cases, you're actually, dipping back into the backlog to, re-experience or replay stuff from the past that really stands the test of time. Because again, 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat 3. So, again, that kind of ties into how I was actually considering, trying to pick up Mortal Kombat 1 at some point. Let's see. There's, of course, the anniversary for Super Metroid as well. So, it's a lot of, while we are still moving forward for better or worse, and, as far as I'm concerned, definitely for the better, you always have an opportunity to look back to what we came from and see how it influences what we play today. I mean, again, going back to Tarkov being one of the first big extraction shooters, and then it gets you thinking, how's Marathon going to shake up the formula?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For sure. All right. Well, let's close. Let me close it out with this, and we'll shut down the school here and come back next week. So, what do I got for you guys? What do I got? All right, here it is. All right, I'm gonna add some background noise as the kids are leaving the classrooms. All right. right, guys, that is going to be a wrap. Yeah, right. That is going to be a wrap for tonight's session on Class 27 of the GQAzndood Gaming Academy. Huge shout out to all amazing attendees tonight. Of course, Nick, Ace, and our special guest, the NoShoes, and of course, you, chat. You're the community that keeps this class sessions every single week. Thank you. We took a wild ride to collector's edition that made our wallets cry, strapped onto some Doom helmets, and relived gaming greatness with This Week in Gaming History. BlazingAceNelson brought the heat and the tech, but not today. Maybe tomorrow. But he's always on
It's
fire.
still cooking.
That's him.
Still cooking.
Yep, still cooking. Nick filled their brains with juicy headlines from Hades 2 from last week and Silk Song. By the way, does that have a release date yet? I don't think so. No. Well, whether you're grinding, collecting, or just vibing, thanks for being here. Don't forget to like, follow, sub, and spread the word, of course. And if you're local, I would love to collab with you, and we'd love to kind of share our space with you guys. We'll be back next week with more chaos, content, and controller throwing commentary. Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and of course, always, class dismissed. Have a good night.
Class dismissed.